St. Louis Blues hockey is brought to you in part by Bud Light. Everything else is just alike. By your local McDonald's restaurants in St. Louis and Metro East. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. By your local Lennox dealers, the efficiency experts. By Hardee's, we're out to win you over. By Allstate, leave it to the good hands people to insure your home, your car, your business, or your family. And by Meineke Discount Mufflers.
It's the 80th and final game of the regular schedule. First place is at stake as the Detroit Red Wings and the St. Louis Blues meet at the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the Motor City of Detroit. With Ken Wilson, I'm Dan Kelly. The Detroit Red Wings, 1 point ahead of the St. Louis Blues. A tie or a victory for Detroit. They have first place. But Ken, the Blues have other ideas.
No question, Dan. And the Blues, and this is kind of an interesting point, are trying to make it 6 first-place finishes in 20 years. How starved are they here? And it's a jam-packed house tonight. The Red Wings haven't finished first in any division anywhere in 22 years. So it's quite a night here at this Joe Louis Arena.
As I mentioned, a Detroit victory or a tie, and the Red Wings have first. The Blues must win to finish on top. They're a point behind. Meanwhile, there are other scrambles taking place. Toronto playing Chicago tonight.
And in that case, Toronto, obviously, with a winner tie, clinches a playoff spot. Likewise, Chicago. But should there be a tie in point totals, say Chicago and Minnesota both with 70 points, they go to wins, and you see Minnesota would finish fourth ahead of Chicago if they were end up tied. So still a long way to go, and we're in the last evening of the regular season.
Detroit, St. Louis, and Toronto are in. It's going to depend on what happens in Chicago, whether it's the Blackhawks in or Minnesota. But to heck with those guys. First place is at stake here in Detroit. It'll be either the Blues or the Red Wings. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
To say they are excited in Detroit is an understatement. Standing room only at Joe Louis Arena. Already this year, the Red Wings have set a club record for attendance. Andy Van Hellemond is the referee. John D'Amico and Gerard Gauthier are the linesmen for this crucial final regular season game. Rick Wamsley, who has been outstanding in his career against the Red Wings in goal, his goals against on the year 3.58. So Wamsley in goal for the Blues. At the other end, Greg Steffen for the Detroit Red Wings. He is in his 43rd game, a goals against of 3.46. The season series between these two teams as even as could be. They've played 7 times. The Blues have won 3. The Red Wings have won 3. And there's been 1 tie.
And there's been 1 octopi throw.
That is a tradition here in Detroit, going back to the old Olympia Stadium. And of course, that's where the Red Wings were playing when they last finished first in the 1964-65 season, 22 years ago. The Blues trying to pick up their 11th road victory, their 32nd win of the season here tonight in Detroit. The Blues in Joe Louis Arena this year, a win, a loss, a tie. We're set. Here's Dan Kelly.
Okay, Ken Wilson, it's all on the line. First place between the Red Wings and the Blues. Here's Rick Natras, down right wing. Bouncing it into the Detroit zone. Steered into the corner. Cavallini bumped in there by Darren Beach. Now past Lasky in to try and center, but it's cleared away by the veteran Dave Lewis. And the Blues, Rick Natras will chase back to get it. And as he touches it, it's icing against Detroit. I know it's octopus, but octopi rhymes with tie, and that's what you were talking about at the time. And before the night's over, there'll be more than 1 octopus, and then we call it octopi.
I don't know exactly with standing room how many people they can get in here, Dan, but this is standing room galore here. They could get up to 20,000 if they dare announce twice that many with the fire marshal. But what a crowd and what an atmosphere as the Blues need just this victory to finish first in the Norris Division.
Here's a face-off deep in the Red Wing zone. Fedorko getting the draw to Mark Hunter. Hunter taken out of the play. Red Wings now clear it. Probert couldn't tip it to center. Now does tip it ahead. And breaking in on left wing, Mark Lamb couldn't center it out. And back comes Mark Hunter. Hunter for the Blues, number 20. Into the Red Wing zone. Harold Sneps took him out. And Sneps and Hunter had their sticks up. Now shot in by Natras, but that play is offside at the Red Wing blue line. And you can feel the intensity up here.
Harold Sneps out for many weeks. Came back last night in Pittsburgh. Boy, does he look ready. Tempers are going to flare on the ice, as you would expect, with so much at stake. Seemingly, the Red Wings have more to lose. There's got to be a mental letdown for the team that doesn't win this game. But the Red Wings have occupied first place for weeks. They kind of feel like it's home. And, boy, they'd suffer a tremendous letdown if they were to lose.
Here's Harold Sneps trying to clear it to Bob Probert. He leaves it there, and picking it up is Mark Lamb. Lamb can't get it out. Blues. Fedorko in on left wing to Lemieux. Shoots one. Step in the save. Now Lemieux back of the net. Centered, but Sneps was there. Hunter checked him. Hunter's shot blocked. And then the Red Wings clear it to center. Brian Benning has it there. Benning firing a long one. Handled by the Red Wing goaltender Stepan. And back come Detroit. Probert bumped down by Bourgeois. And the Blues. Fedorko takes a hit from Bridgman, but shot it in. Now the Red Wings clear it right back out and into the blue zone. Rob Ramage has it there. Ramage to Mark Reed's on right wing. Reed shooting it in. Digging in, Mahar shot it back of the net. Now Mike O'Connell for Detroit. Here's O'Connell breaking out. Into center ice to Brent Ashton. Ashton circled back because Kosher was already in the zone. Now the Blues break the play up of their own line, and here's Jim Pavis, who's back in the lineup tonight, replacing Bruce Bell. Detroit's Mike O'Connell. Down right wing to center. Trying to shoot it in. Does. Here's Ashton. Gets it in front. And it rolled right through the crease. Ramage cleared it. Now Ramage shooting it on left wing for Mahar. Tipped it. O'Connell held it in, but handed it right back to Mahar. Now to Mark Reeds. His long shot. And the save made by Stepan. And the Red Wings O'Connell takes over back of his own goal. We played over 2.5 minutes. No score. Puck shot in by Brent Ashton for Detroit. Bothwell back to clear it. Intercepting it, Yzerman. Centering it back to Ashton. On the point. Beats a drive. That's just wide. And the Blues try and clear it. Now Natras out on right wing to Cliff Ronning. Ronning into the Red Wing zone. Fakes the shot. Moves in deeper. Now fires it behind the goal to Doug Evans. Evans for the Blues. Put it in front. Knocked away by the Red Wing defense. Now Evans back of the net. Tied up there. And play is called, and we'll get a stoppage. No score. 17:09 left in the first period. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
The game Monopoly has come to life at McDonald's. Win food, a Coca-Cola, $1 million, a Lincoln Town Car, a dream home, vacation, over $40 million in cash and prizes at McDonald's.
Bank owes me $200.
I wish that were real.
Now at McDonald's it is.
Come into McDonald's evenings after 4 p.m. and get 2 Monopoly game pieces. That's twice the opportunity to win big cash prizes.
I'm taking my top hat to McDonald's.
Why the top hat?
It is an evening event.
Detroit Red Wing coach Jacques Demers. He has taken the Red Wings from the cellar to the top of the Norris Division here in the 86-87 season.
Face-off won by the Blues. Benning at the point. Shot wide. Bourgeois pinching in behind the net to Gilmore. Got it in front, but the Red Wings intercept, and Gerard Gallant fires it up the middle. Well, through the Blues goal crease, so there's no icing. Back is Benning. Flipped it on the boards to Bourgeois. Head manning to Gilmore to Paslowski at center. Into Gilmore, into the Red Wing zone. Over to Cavallini. Shooting, he shot it high and wide on the short side. And the Red Wings Gallant clears it out of there. Goes all the way into the blue zone. Now Bourgeois back to touch it, and he does. The crowd boos because Benning had taken the Red Wing player Higgins out to let Bourgeois get to the puck, and the crowd didn't like that.
Charlie Bourgeois playing some of his best hockey of the season, getting ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now Gilmore and Schnepp's having words right in front of the Detroit goal. The Red Wings are a little testy. They had a 3-1 lead in Pittsburgh last night, lost in overtime to the Penguins. They've dropped 2 in a row, 4 of 5. They could have clinched first place in the Norris Division last Wednesday, so they've had the champagne on ice for quite a while. The Blues, of course, a bit of an upstart finish, having won 2 in a row, 3 of 4 under Jacques Martin, the rookie coach, coming into this final regular season game tonight here at Joe Louis Arena. So the Blues seemingly would just put a little icing on a 3-layer cake if they can finish first. And for Detroit, I think if they didn't finish first, it would be a huge disappointment. And you don't want to go into the playoffs with that disappointed, let down feeling. That's what the Red Wings face. And I really think they have more on the line in this game than the Blues do.
Here's Mel Bridgman. Acquired late in the season by the Red Wings from New Jersey. Got the draw on the Red Wings. Trying to work it out of there. Probert kicked it on the boards. Now it comes back to the net and Delorme takes over. Gilbert Delorme fired it up the middle for Bridgman, intercepted by the Blues. Back comes Hunter, shooting it into the Detroit zone. Delorme back again. Delorme, number 29, to his own line. Leads a 4-man rush, fired it in wide of the net. Ramage back for the Blues to get it. Cleared it over onto left wing, and Lemieux lets it go to center. Delorme shoots it right back in. Red Wings put themselves back onside. Ramage there to Hunter. Here's Mark Hunter, number 20. No score as Hunter leads the Blues rush. Trying to drop it back to Lemieux. He poked it in front, but Lee Norwood is there to clear it away. Another former Blues player. Ramage knocked it down. Now it comes back to Norwood. Norwood trying to shoot it in. Hits Federko with it. Comes back to Norwood. Norwood clearing it into the St. Louis zone. Bothwell back to get it. Over to Reeds. Reeds a move off the boards, and then Federko able to clear it down the ice. And as O'Connell goes back to touch it, that's an icing call against St. Louis. No score in the early minutes. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
The energy game. At best, it's chancy. At worst, it's a disaster.
Oh, no.
This winter, save up to 42% on your heating bills with the high-efficiency Lennox Pulse gas furnace.
I'm Henry Huff of Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Call me for quality equipment, expert installation, and prompt service in the St. Charles County area.
If you're looking for quality equipment, good service, and a fair price, give us a call at Crawford Heating.
Where we give quality a whole new meaning.
When you play the energy game, you always win with Lennox.
Many Blues fans here in Detroit tonight. Ken Brodzinski from South St. Louis wants to say hi to Mom. Rick Gevers and Max Utzler are here. They want to say hi to all the folks back in St. Louis tonight.
Face-off won by the Blues. Natras back of his own goal. Out to Cavallini. Now to Gilmore. Gilmore pokes it to center. Bothwell racing after it. Has Paslowski with him. Tried to get it to him, but Norwood had him too well tied up. Number 23, Lee Norwood, to his own line. Now to center. Paslowski takes him out, and Sean Burr, the fine Red Wing rookie, fires it in. Wamsley gives it to Natras. Natras cleared it high off the glass. Back into the Detroit zone. Here's Norwood and Paslowski racing in. Norwood tied up by Paslowski. They battle on the boards. Burr comes back of the net. So does Gilmore. Now Gilmore and Burr pinch each other in against the boards, and then Paslowski and Norwood take a push at each other. Then Burr grabs a hold to Gilmore. And they have to be separated.
This will not be the last of the extracurricular activity. Boy, people wonder why it goes on in hockey, but boy, the level of intensity, the emotion, so high when you get to a game like this. Every little bump, every little position on the ice means a potential advantage to get the puck, a potential advantage to get position to score, and it's not surprising there's a lot of bumping, a lot of hard feelings. Coincidental penalties here, so both teams will remain at full strength. The Dean Affolter family, former Blues fans in the St. Louis area, sort of mixed emotions. They live in Detroit now. Want to say hi to the Bob Arvilla family in Eureka and the Scott Tumilty family in Chesterfield. Also a big hello to everyone in St. Louis, and Lieutenant Jack Billings of the St. Louis Police Department from Kevin Billings here in Detroit tonight.
Kevin is, by the way, Jack's son. He's with the Secret Service here in Detroit.
And Uncle Tommy Megan wants to say hi to Joey. And Kevin says hello to Sam back in St. Louis, and Susie Matthew, the fine front office personality of the Blues wants to let Jenny and Joey Matthew know that she'll see him after the playoffs.
Now from the faceoff, we're going to get another penalty. Penalties had been called, coincidentally, on both players earlier, and now the latest penalty will be to Dave Lewis of Detroit. A Red Wing penalty, a Blues power play coming up. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
If you just ask for a light beer,
give me a light.
you never know what you'll get.
Bud Light. Great. Ramage behind his own goal. Ramage on the Blues power play. 57 seconds left in the penalty. Clears to Benning. Benning shooting it in. Now Stepan shoots it away. Detroit trying to clear it. Held in by Ramage at the point. Ramage into the corner to Pederko. Back on the point to Ramage. Ramage fires it over on left wing to Gilmore. Gilmore spun around, knocked down. Hunter out in front. Drops to Benning. Benning can't get the shot out. Now Benning pulled down on the play on the far side by Brent Ashton. And Detroit cleared out of there. 24 seconds left in the penalty. Back for the Blues is Ramage. Ramage trying to move out of his own zone. Ramage on right wing for Gilmore. He tipped it into the Detroit zone. Beach back for the Red Wings. Loses it behind the net. Cleared it. Pederko gets it on the right wing boards. Bernie Pederko. Now as the Blues player is upended, centered it. Oh, and Gilmore just missed the tip, and now Beach is down on the ice and injured. I think he injured himself when he upended a Blues player.
No question about it. Referee Andy Van Hellemond was looking as Beach upended the Blues player, Mark Reed's. Reed's stick went up and seemed to catch Beach in the face. Dave Lewis getting a tripping penalty at 5:23 for Detroit to create the Blues power play situation. It had looked as though Bourgeois and Lewis were mixing it up and they both might get penalties, but as it turned out, Lewis getting the minor. And that penalty is up now, so both teams will be at full strength after Beach is 10-2. There's no score in Detroit. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
This young woman is about to repair her own car. As you watch, she's actually fixing one of the biggest problems facing today's engines: clogged fuel injectors. She's fixing it with Mobile Super Unleaded Gasoline. Its advanced detergent formula can unclog fuel injectors and give your car a new injection of power. Drive your engine clean with Mobile Super Unleaded, high octane with a plus.
Beach has gone to the Detroit locker room for repairs. Don't forget, the Blues open up the best-of-7 first-round Stanley Cup playoff series at the arena Wednesday and Thursday nights, the 8th and the 9th. Playoff packages and individual tickets are on sale now for the playoffs. You can purchase individual tickets for the first round. And again, those first two games are at the arena Wednesday and Thursday nights. Tickets available at the arena box office, open tomorrow 10 until 6 at all famous bar tickets now outlets or the Marriott Pavilion Hotel, or you can call Charge-A-Tick 231-1234. Charge your tickets to Visa or MasterCard.
Doesn't matter if the Blues finish first or second. Playoffs begin at the arena this Wednesday and Thursday. Here the Red Wings still shorthanded. Snaps to Klima, held in by Natras. He moves in, shoots one. Save made by Stepan. Now Detroit back at full strength. Here's Ronning in the corner. But coming up with the loose puck for Detroit is Adam Oates. Oates trying to clear it out of there. Now Cavallini takes a run at a Red Wing. Puck comes into the St. Louis zone. Natras trying to clear it out. Here's Oates trying to center. Now the Blues in center ice with Cavallini breaking it up. Cavallini lost it. Natras pokes it to center, and here comes Cliff Ronning. Down right wing into the Detroit zone. Ronning firing it in behind the goal. Cavallini can't get it. And Detroit take over, and back comes Oates. Oates to Klima. Klima at center. Knocked it down with a high stick. And that calls play back. This big crowd has been roaring on a couple of hits by the Blues, but Andy Van Hellemond has been here before. He's not going to be swayed one way or the other by that big crowd.
There's no surprise that the officiating crew is rather veteran tonight. In fact, Andy Van Hellemond and the linesman John D'Amico and Gerard Gauthier were both, or all three, in fact, at Maple Leaf Gardens last night for the big Chicago-Toronto game. But the bodies have been falling right and left. You get near the puck in this game tonight, and you are going to get plummeted either to the boards or to the ice. Both teams taking the body. And a lot of times in the first period of a game, the two teams will feel each other out, but usually gently. I think the two teams are feeling each other out here tonight, but they're doing it with cannons. They're shooting full rounds and really going after each other with first place in the Norris Division at stake. And of course, you also get the home ice advantage all the way through the first 2 rounds by finishing first. So there's not only money, but home ice advantage at stake.
$5,000 a man to finish first, plus that home ice advantage. Red Wings shoot it in. Going back is Benning. Benning in front of his own goal to Mark Reeds, held in by Norwood. Norwood tied up, and the Blues, Mahar flips it to center. Blues have Wickenheiser, Mahar, and Reeds out about against the big Detroit line of Yzerman, Brent Ashton, and Kosher. Here's Yzerman to Kosher. In on right wing. Shoots one. Walmsley to save. Rebound poked just wide. And now Bourgeois to Wickenheiser. Wickenheiser to center ice. Into the Detroit zone. Wickenheiser on left wing. Into the corner to Reeds. Back to Wickenheiser with a shot wide. And it bounces all the way to center. Ramage there to get it. Clearing it in. Lee Norwood back for Detroit over to Mike O'Connell. We've played over 9 minutes of the first period. O'Connell dumping it in, but Pavis is there. He shoots it right back out. And the Red Wing player Beach goes back to get it in his own zone. Darren Beach to Bob Probert. He lets it go to the St. Louis line. Pavis has it, tipping it to Reeds, broken up. Back comes Detroit. In across the line is Lamb. Lemieux hammered him out with a body check. And the Blues, Hunter, leaving it there for Ramage. He's taken out. There's a shot right on. And a save on Bridgman by Rick Walmsley as he walked in from a sharp angle. Back to get it is Paderco to Jim Pavis. Shot it to center ice. Beach to the Red Wing blue line. Clears it right back out. And it goes into the St. Louis zone. And as the Blues, Ramage goes back to get it. Icing called against Detroit. 9:59 left in the first period. Right here, 15-second pause for station identification. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
KPLR-TV St. Louis. Portions of tonight's game are brought to you by McDonald's. Come into your local McDonald's and play McDonald's Monopoly. It's your chance to win more than $40 million in cash and prizes.
Blues have outshot Detroit 5-3 in the early going. Moments ago, Mel Bridgman an opportunity, and Walmsley on the stick side making the save. Jocelyn Lemieux has been throwing his weight around, but he looks just like another player in the first period of this game because everybody on both teams is throwing their weight around with 10:01 gone. An exciting first period as you would expect.
Big face-off deep in the Detroit zone. Bridgman against Paderco. Blues get it to Bothwell. Shoots one. That's deflected. And here's Delorme on right wing in his own zone. Shot it to center. Knocked down by Bothwell. Now Delorme again. Flipping it into the St. Louis zone. Going back to get it is Rick Natras. Shot it out on right wing. Hunter gets by Sneps. Sneps then carried back in to Lamb. Into the corner to Klima. But it's cleared away by the Blues. Puck still loose in the St. Louis zone, however. Bridgman getting it to Klima. Klima taken out of the play by Bothwell. And Paderco got it to the line, but not out. Now, Bothwell came out and poked it to center. And Harold Sneps is back to get it. To Delorme. Delorme bumped by Lemieux. Now Lemieux and Lamb get tied up on the far side. Blues as play goes right on. Here's Mark Hunter into center ice. Shooting it into the Detroit zone. O'Connell back to get it. Mike O'Connell stops at a dime, comes out the other way to Gallant at center. He's taken out of the play. And Todd Ewan for the Blues. Shooting it into the Detroit zone. Mike O'Connell back after it. O'Connell firing it, held in by Cavallini. Shot back of the net. Norwood has it for Detroit. Lee Norwood into center ice to Burr, now to Gallant. Here's Gallant. Shoots it into the blue zone. Higgins racing in. Bourgeois there to poke it away. Bourgeois to Gilmore. Now to Todd Ewan, number 21. Here's Ewan into the Red Wing zone with a wrist shot wide. Bounced in front. O'Connell has it. He clears it over onto the boards. And racing after it, Norwood for Detroit. He shoots it down the ice. Back goes Benning. Benning cleared it behind the goal for Ramage. Ramage out on the boards to Ewan. He tipped it ahead for Gilmore. Gilmore with Cavallini into the Red Wing zone for Gilmore. Leaving it there, but Burr was back checking, and Sean Burr has it. Burr to center ice to Gallant. Gerard Gallant into the blue zone. Pavis took him out, and Ramage cleared the puck. Now at center, Beach shoots it into the blue zone. Ramage back to get it. Gives it to Gilmore. Doug Gilmore out on left wing at center to Cavallini. Cavallini in the scoreless game, shooting it in, and Beach is back to pick it up. Here's Beach trying to get away from Wickenheiser. Long pass. Pavis knocked it down. Red Wings get it again and shoot it into the St. Louis zone. Digging in to get it is Kosher. Walmsley out of the net to clear it away. And now Reeds for the Blues. Ahead to Wickenheiser. Off the boards, he shot it. It will go the length of the ice, and Beach is back after it. And that's an icing call against the Blues. 7:20 left in a scoreless first period. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Once upon a time, getting a car was simple. You bought it. But the new tax laws have made leasing more attractive than ever. And suddenly you're surrounded by opportunists. But Enterprise has been leasing cars exclusively for over 30 years. We'll rescue you from the jaws of confusion and put you on the road to leasing security. The Enterprise Road.
Nobody knows leasing like Enterprise.
No score. Face off deep in the blue zone. Kosher a quick shot wide of the net. In on right wing is Beach, shooting it right through the crease. Back to the point to Lewis. His shot wide of the goal. Now centered out in front by the Red Wings, Brent Ashton. To the point, Lewis's shot blocked by this man, Rick Mahar. Here's Mahar into the Red Wing zone, shooting. A save made by Stepan. And the Detroit club start back. Yzerman leaving it for Beach. Beach trying to flip it up, and he flipped it up over the glass into the crowd. By the way, tomorrow the Blues have called an important press conference for the Arena Club. They had one on Friday, announced Jack Quinn as president, having his contract extended. Ron Caraz, GM, the same thing. Another press conference called for tomorrow. They label it an important one. We'll have to wait until around noon hour tomorrow to find out.
Well, things are definitely happening around the Blues. No question about it. We look forward to that press conference tomorrow. Greg Stepan really tested on a low drive off the stick of Rick Mahar.
Here's Benning firing it in. Back to get it is Harold Snepps. Snepps behind his own goal. Second game back after a long absence with injuries. To the tough guy, Probert at center. In on right wing to Mel Bridgman. He's taken out. And Rick Mahar goes back to get it. Mahar, or actually it's Doug Evans. To Bourgeois. He takes a tough hit from Probert, but got it to Hunter. Hunter couldn't get around Snepps. And Detroit shoot it back into center ice. Bourgeois has it there. Bourgeois ahead for Hunter. In across the line. Shoots one. Stepan kicked that out. And DeLorme cleared it back to the St. Louis line. Here's the pass to Doug Evans. Now to Mark Hunter. Hunter into the Detroit zone. DeLorme took him out with a heavy check. And Snepps has it for the Red Wings. Harold Snepps to Probert. Probert to center ice. Into the St. Louis zone on left wing. Shoots one wide of the net with a weak wrist shot. Back is Jim Pavis. He got it outside the line. And Pavis upending Probert as the hard hitting continues. Detroit shoot it back in. Ramage there to Doug Evans. He dropped it back to the net to Ramage again. Quickly on right wing to Paslowski. He gives it to Pavis. Pavis to center, firing it in. Stepan sets it up for Darren Beach. Beach cuts behind his own goal, now comes in front of the net, firing it out into center ice, and here's Higgins into Burr across the line. Penalty coming up to the Blues. Higgins got it in front, and then as the Blues got it, penalty to Paslowski for interference. And Detroit will have its first power play of the game. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
The penalty comes because of a long Detroit pass that gives the Red Wings a 3-on-2 break. Off on the left wing, Paslowski was back checking. And before the sequence that you're seeing on the replay, Gallant had to slow up at the blue line. Paslowski was trying to catch up with him, and like somebody who stops at an amber light, they kind of plowed into him from behind. Interference.
Here's Detroit's Ashton on the power play. Into Yzerman in the corner. Iserman back to Veach, shoots one. That hit Mahar, bounced wide. Blues clear it and get it out of the zone. Detroit with the 12th ranked power play in the league. 69 goals at 20.8 power play percentage. Blues shorthanded right here. Detroit's first power play of the night. Here comes Norwood. Over to Veach. Shooting it into the St. Louis zone. Gilmore back to get it. Clears it. Veach held it in. And Wickenheiser checked him, and the puck flips over the glass into the crowd. 1:13 left in Paslowski's penalty.
One thing about the Blues, as strong as their power play has been this season, the penalty killing has also been strong. The Blues penalty killing 8th ranked in the NHL. Well, Dave Barr, well-traveled NHLer, early in the season came over here to Detroit, and under Jacques Demers he has blossomed and been a rather key offensive player for the Detroit Red Wings, which in a sense is somewhat unusual. He has been, of course, with the Blues and other teams generally more of a defensive specialist.
He's out on right wing with Oates at center, Gallant on left wing, O'Connell and Norwood are the point men. Wickenheiser and Gilmore are the penalty killers up front. Ramage and Benning the defense. Norwood back into his own zone. Gilmore in forechecking. It's O'Connell. Mike O'Connell on a Detroit power play to center. Into the blue zone. Trying to feed it through. O'Connell chased back near the point to Norwood. He moves in, shooting. Walmsley got a piece of it. Now they center it. Walmsley knocked that away as Gallant tried to get it in front. And Gilmore slaps it off the glass into center ice. And the Red Wings, Norwood has to go back. 38 seconds left in the Blues penalty. Here comes Detroit. Barr in across the line. Gilmore broke it up. Wickenheiser flipped it to center. O'Connell back to pick it up. He leaves it for Norwood. 26 seconds left in the Blues penalty. No score. Norwood shooting it in. Walmsley deflects it. Now Mahar kicked it back to the net, and Ramage comes up with it. Ramage with plenty of time takes a look and then slaps it all the way down. Here's Mahar in to get it. Drops it to Reeds. Reeds for the Blues, who are still shorthanded, trying to get it in front. Steppen cleared it away. And here's Oates clearing to center ice. Now it's Gallant. Paslowski's back on for St. Louis. Bothwell back to get it. Bothwell to Mahar. He's checked in the play. And Mahar clears it. Reeds comes to center. Shoots it in. Here's Paslowski trying to center one, and that goes off the stick of the Red Wing defenseman Veach over the glass into the crowd. 2:55 left in the first period. No score. Each team has had a power play, and the Blues have outshot Detroit 7-5.
Very good first period, and I think the key for the Blues has been the fact that they were not run out of the building in the first 5 minutes. The Red Wings came out, as you would expect, fired up, and the Blues stayed right with them and may have outplayed them a bit. Walmsley moments ago crunched in a collision at the side of the Blues net. Fortunately for the Blues, they were able to control the puck. But a very spirited first period of play before this standing room only crowd here in Detroit, with first place in the Norris Division at stake.
Red Wings, who have been in first place since February 7th, but challenged tonight by the Blues. Here's veteran Harold Sneps. Head manning to center, knocked away by the Blues, and Fedorko has it. He's checked by Burr, and Burr shoots it into the blue zone. Fedorko back to get it. His pass to Bourgeois. Now to Brian Benning, the Blues' 20-year-old rookie. Into the Red Wing zone. He's checked. And Bridgman cleared it to Bob Probert. Checked by Benning. Over to Bourgeois. Ahead on right wing for Hunter. Into Fedorko. Fedorko trying to get around Delorme. Delorme took him out nicely. And Gilbert Delorme starts back for Detroit. At center. Getting a pass to Probert. Probert trying to drop it back to Lamb. Knocked away by the Blues, Benning. And Mark Hunter has it for St. Louis. To Fedorko. Into the Detroit zone to Mark Hunter. Moving in. Centered. Fedorko. Shooting. Missed the net. Hunter out in front. And then the Red Wing goal gets knocked loose. Play is called and Steppen is shaken up. But that was perhaps the best scoring chance of the period.
Not the best of angles for Fedorko, but certainly an opportunity. Hunter's shot pass right out to Federico, and he shoots wide by a couple of feet. He was on the move, and it's not an easy shot when you're flying in to make that adjustment and hit the net. But Steffen was down, and the Blues had, as Dan pointed out, an outstanding scoring opportunity. When you look back at this period, with 1:57 to go, there really have not been a lot of what you would call real good scoring chances. Walmsley has made a couple of decent saves early in the period. The Blues, I think, have tested Greg Steffen a little bit more than the Red Wings have tested Walmsley. But it's been basically a skating, passing, and hitting period with a minimal number of top-notch scoring chances.
Both these coaches, both Jacques, think defense first and then offense. Jacques Martin with the Blues, Jacques Demers with Detroit. Now Gallant knocking past Lasky down, then the Red Wings control at their own line. Here's Tim Higgins flipping it in for Detroit. Going back to get it is Rob Ramage. Cleared around on the boards to Cavallini. He's checked in the play, and Cavallini back behind the Blues goal, number 17. Cleared to Paslowski. He fires it back of the net. And there to get it is Pavis, who bounces it. Hit the referee. Burr held it in. Into Gallant in the corner, trying to center. Comes back to Cavallini. Into center ice to Paslowski. Paslowski gulping it into the Detroit zone. And the Red Wings, O'Connell is back to get it. 1:12 left in a scoreless first period. Now the Red Wings clear the puck to center. Doug Gilmour, the Blues' 100-point man. In on right wing to Paslowski. Shoots one. That was deflected. Steffen the save. Now Cavallini to Gilmour. We're in the final minute of the first period. Now it's Gallant breaking away from Paslowski. Into center ice to Steve Yzerman. Yzerman into the Blue zone. Taken out by Bothwell. And the Blues clear it back to center ice. Snaps is there to flip it away. Now Dave Barr for Detroit. Barr into the Blue zone. Centered. Back checking was Mahar. And Rick Mahar speeds back. Mahar to center. Into the Detroit zone. Trying to go through. Almost did. And was checked from behind. And Ashton cleared it away. And Yzerman shot it to center. Natras shoots it back in. 20 seconds left in the first period. No score. Harold Snaps for the Red Wings. Snaps trying to move out. Snaps with 10 seconds left in the period. Shoots it in. Blues go back with Mark Reeds. Over to Mahar on left wing. And Mahar starts out to Wickenheiser. He tipped it down the ice, and there's the buzzer to end the first period. A scoreless period. But Ken, I think the Blues had the edge in the play. They outshot the Red Wings 8-5.
I agree, no question. Steffen had the tougher saves, and as we pointed out, again, a defensive first period. This is a kind of matchup, which you could see in the second round of the playoffs. You would expect very low-scoring games. After a period no score in Detroit, this is St. Louis Blues hockey. Stay tuned now for News Watch Update. Coming up after these messages.
It doesn't matter where.
I looked up and there was no more ceiling, no more roof.
It doesn't matter when.
We didn't know where. And the big Bucks for with a nifty move, gets a couple and a foul running over Barkley, but the Sixers hang on to win it in OT. The final in overtime, Philadelphia by a couple over Boston, 106-104. Now the golf links were busy around the country on this Sunday. A lot of us would like to have been out there. The highlights for them: the Cards knock off the Royals 8-2. Well, Greg Matthews was the Redbirds starting pitcher today. The team is counting on him to be a big winner, and Matthews is counting on the Cards.
I feel they can do a lot. See, the things that we do are fundamental baseball. We play good baseball, as in you make the plays, they work for a couple runs, and that's the way our pitchers base their games on. We keep the score low. And the guys that were injured last year are pretty healthy this year, of what I've seen, and I'm looking forward to a repeat of '85.
A lot of people would like to see that. Meanwhile, standing by in Detroit, we have Misters Kelly and Wilson, so let's go to them and see what they have to think about this contest. Gentlemen?
Well, first of all, a very good first period. I think the Red Wings came out hitting very hard in the opening part. Blues didn't get intimidated at all. I'd like to give Andy Van Hellemond a lot of credit, Ken. Big game, crowd roaring. He just looked away, let the guys play hockey.
Yeah, there's no question. I think any referee would say, I want to make sure that I don't decide the outcome, and Van Hellemond is letting them play. It's going to be very difficult for either team to really pick up a penalty, and I think everyone likes that. They know where they stand on the ice with Van Hellemond. I thought, as you did, it was a sensational sensational first period.
Blues outshot the Red Wings, and the key to the period to me that I liked from a Blues standpoint, Ken, was the poise the Blues showed and the way they were able to come out of their own end. Detroit really didn't pressure them at all, and the Blues looked very confident as they moved the puck out of their own end of the rink, and that's a very important aspect of this game.
Coming in with a couple of victories in a row, I think, really helps the Blues. You look at Detroit, they've been ready to clinch first place now for a while, and I think your confidence starts to go a little bit, and that's the position that the Detroit Red Wings are in. I think if the Blues could get a 1 or 2 goal lead in this game, and it might be a game with only 1 or 2 goals overall, but if they could get a lead of any sort, I think that would erode the Red Wings' confidence even further.
Well, we don't know if the Blues or Red Wings are going to finish first. We don't know whom they're going to play in the playoffs, but we do pretty well know the other pairings in the National Hockey League. Patrick Division, Philadelphia will play the Rangers. Washington will play the Islanders. Who's going to win there?
I think Philadelphia should win, but they have a tough time. The Rangers could easily win that, Dan, and I think the Capitals have a chance to upset quite a few teams and go maybe to the 3rd round.
Ditto for me, although you can flip a coin in that Ranger-Philadelphia series. Hartford will play Quebec. I think Hartford's going to be a dark horse for the Stanley Cup. I'd pick them there. Boston hasn't beaten Montreal in a playoff series since, I think, 1945.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I think Montreal-Boston might be as good a first-round matchup as there is in the playoffs. No question Hartford will roll, and Hartford could well be in the Stanley Cup Finals.
And it will be Edmonton against Los Angeles. Los Angeles upset the Oilers a few years ago, but I don't look for one this year. Calgary, Winnipeg. Flip a coin there, buddy.
Yeah, Winnipeg won today in the matinee game. I really think, Dan, that Winnipeg can beat Calgary. We all know that Calgary can beat Edmonton, but I'm not so sure that Calgary's going to get a chance to pull another Oiler upset. And the Norbourgeois backs, spun around by Gallant from the point. A Lewis shot. And now it's cleared out by Cavallini. Too far at center ice for Pazlowski. Veach in his own zone for Detroit to Gallant. He chops the puck in over the Blues line. Backboard Brian Benning. He loses the puck. Higgins keeps it into the corner. It comes in front. And the Blues try to clear it out. Finally, Cavallini gets it after Bourgeois is stopped. Cavallini checked at center ice. Red Wings lose the puck. And right in front of the penalty benches at the center red line, Cavallini gets the puck. He just shoots it in, and the puck trickles right to Steffen, and he makes a routine save. Blues changing players. First minute of the second period. No score. Gerard Gallant in over the line. Poke check by Pavis. Out of the net, Walmsley. Clearing along the boards. Not out. And Cavallini gets the puck to Gilmore. Up the middle to Ramage from center ice. Long shot, and it's against the chest of Steffen, and he makes the save and leaves the puck for the veteran Harold Schneps. Schneps on the right wing. Gets the puck over, and Delorme tries to shoot it in. He crunches Pavis with a check, and finally Probert dumps the puck in. Walmsley leaves it behind the net, then shoots it along the boards, and Jocelyn Lemieux has it. Lemieux on with Federico and Hunter. The pass off Hunter's skate, then he steals the puck from Steps, moves right in, shoots. Steffen makes the save on Mark Hunter as he moved right in. Puck still in the Detroit end. Probert can't get it out. Digging in the corner, Gilbert Delorme. He skates behind the Detroit net. Whacks the puck off the far boards. Bridgman turns it into the middle. A right wing pass for Probert from Lamb, knocked down, then Lamb shoots the puck in. Ramage grabs it, puts it on the ice, and lifts it to center ice. It comes down to Lemieux. Over the line, a drop pass, and it's intercepted and cleared out by Detroit's youngster, Mark Lamb. Then it's Bothwell at the St. Louis line, clearing to center ice, and the Wings take over again. Delorme dumps the puck in. Both teams changing players. Just past the 2-minute mark of the second period. No score in the battle for first place in the Norris Division. Federico at center ice into the Detroit zone to Reeds. He winds up, shoots. Steffen the save. He smothers the rebound. Not a St. Louis player in sight, so he whacks it into the corner. Bridgman banks the puck high, and it sails into the crowd behind the Detroit net. Second period of play, no score. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
In search of the perfect combination of tastes, some hamburger places will try anything. Well, at Hardee's, we found it. Introducing the new Mushroom and Swiss Burger, our 100% American beef patty, 2 slices of Swiss cheese, mushrooms in sauce. And here's another great combination. Our Mushroom and Swiss Burger, large fries, and a large drink for only $2.59. Only from Hardee's. We're out to win you over.
Well, the Harlem Globetrotters played here this afternoon. You can see patches on the ice. It's not as pretty as normal, but they packed them in. There's well over 19,000 here, where they've had over 20 sellouts this year. Last time I saw the count, it was something like 24, 25 complete sellouts. Hockey is back in Detroit, although it really never left.
They have averaged almost 19,000 a game. Tops in the NHL, setting a new Detroit Red Wing club record for attendance this season. Face off deep in the Detroit zone, won by the Red Wings. No score, second period of play. Lee Norwood with the puck. He's a Detroit native. On defense with O'Connell. Gets the puck up the middle, and Ashton is stopped by the Blues. Reeves with a puck. Into the Detroit zone, back to Mahar. Long shot. Stefan save with a stick. In the corner, Reeves looking to center. He's checked on the play. Back to the point. Natras trying to keep the puck in, does. He shoots, and another stick save by Greg Stefan. 3 minutes gone here in the middle period in Detroit. The crowd getting behind the Red Wings. O'Connell headmans up the middle. Ashton gets the puck in. The former North Star and Nordique. Back for it is Bothwell. Nice pass to Mahar. His feet on the right wing is too far for Todd Ewan. The puck goes the length of the ice, and the Red Wings, Norwood touches it. It is an icing call against the Blues. The Blues now in this contest have outshot the Red Wings 13-5.
Standing room only here in Detroit. Well over 19,000. They're standing at the top of every section here at the Joe Louis Arena. By the way, you might wonder about the Red Wings last year. They had only 40 points. They have won twice as many games already this year. 34 victories, and they did all of last year. 17 wins when the Red Wings had only 40 points. So that's the kind of turnaround year it's been for Jacques Demers and the Red Wings this year.
Brian Benning as the Blues win the draw in their own zone, bothered by Burr. Benning passes to Cavallini at center ice to the Detroit line. Cavallini stopped by Veach, centers. The puck goes to the far boards. Here's Gilmore with it, trying to shovel it through to Pazlowski, and it's intercepted by Gallant. Out on the right wing to Higgins. Tim Higgins, the former Devil and Blackhawk, shoots wide. Gilmore gets the puck to Pazlowski. He clears it out, and the Wings control at center ice. Burr mixing it up with Bourgeois behind the play. Red Wings shoot the puck in, and Benning controls. In front of Walmsley, Benning and Bourgeois. Pazlowski takes the pass on the right wing, clears across the ice behind Cavallini. Here's Burr to Higgins, and the shot stopped by Walmsley. Pazlowski can't get the puck out, kept in at the left point by Dave Lewis. Now the Blues clear it out. Beach controls. No score in the second period. Bird check knocked down by Bourgeois at center ice. Gilmore a chance over the line, shoots, and the shot blocked by Darren Beach. Harold Schneps covers up. He's poke check, loose puck in the corner. Gilmore centers in front, and Cavallini can't get a shot as Burr clears the puck. Blues control at center ice. Ramage, he'll shoot it in. Puck circles behind the Detroit net. Schneps plays it. He's hit by Lemieux. Then he runs into Hunter. Lemieux has the puck, and a pass just out of the reach of Fedorko comes to center ice. As Schneps and Hunter mix it up, Blues shoot the puck back in, and it's an icing call as tempers flare again here early in the second period, primarily Schneps and Hunter.
And Mark Hunter skated away from Harold Schneps, and that's not because he fears him. Of course, the Blues don't want Hunter in that penalty box. He's one of their key marksmen, and that's part of the game of hockey. The Red Wings would love to get a Hunter or a Gilmore in the penalty box for 5 minutes. That gives your team an edge over that period. But Hunter would have none of it. Meanwhile, the faceoff is going to be moved outside the Detroit blue line. Still no score, 15-17 left in the second period.
Hunter with a big goal last night in the Blues victory over Minnesota. Blues have won 2 in a row, 3 of 4. They need a victory tonight to finish first in the Norris Division. Wings shoot the puck into the Blues zone. Ramage, a pass knocked away. Then Kalima can't play it, and Ramage steers the puck along the boards. It's left for Fedorko by Lemieux, and cleared out by Ramage. Too far for Lemieux. They say the Wings could have played it in the neutral zone. Lemieux takes out his man. That's DeLorme. Then playing the puck, the Red Wings to center ice. It's shot in by Adam Oates. Backcourt. And Kalima beats Ramage to it in front. Kalima shoots and scores. Peter Kalima.
with Ramage. Got it into the corner. Then it was centered, and Klima was wide open to put it in. But here's the key to the play. Klima won the race to the puck, and Ramage touched it. It would have been icing. Klima got it into the corner. Then it was centered, and Klima was back out unchecked and put it in. And the youngster from Czechoslovakia, who earlier in the year was in Jacques Demers' doghouse, causes the fans to throw those octopuses on the ice, or octopi, and that's an old tradition here in Detroit. Klima getting the goal.
That is his 30th of the year. They're on their feet in Detroit. Klima now with 4 goals against the Blues in 8 games. Boy, and his speed really did it, Dan, didn't it? He had that extra speed to beat Ramage to the puck, consequently no icing, and Pavice was left in front with 2 Detroit players. He went the wrong way, and boy, Klima made no mistake. He did it himself.
He really did. Adam Oates is the man that Klima got the puck to, and then Oates gave it back to Klima in front of the net. And Detroit draws first blood. It's 1-0.
Face off at center ice. Red Wings control. Steve Yzerman. 5:21 the time of the goal. The 30th for Klima. Oates gets the assist. Red Wings lead 1-0. Bothwell behind his own net, out to Reeves in the wing. He's checked. Wickenheiser steps into Norwood. They vie for the puck along the boards. Yzerman trying to pry it loose. He does. Yzerman to the point to O'Connell. Over to the other Red Wing player who takes the shot, Ashton, and the save, and the Blues come back. Wickenheiser over the line to Mahar, and the feed to Reed's broken up. Now it's Brent Ashton. Ed Manning to Bridgman. He's stopped in the neutral zone. Gets the puck back to Ashton. In over the line. A nice move. Ashton cuts in. Shoots wide. Oh, did Brent Ashton make a couple of nice moves. Red Wings keep the puck in Yzerman. And it's knocked away, and Reeds takes over. He'll just clear to center ice to relieve the Detroit pressure. And Dave Lewis, the veteran, drills it right back in. The Red Wings changing players. Important now for the Blues not to have a letdown as the Wings get the first goal. Beach stops Mahar at center ice, leaves the puck for Sean Burr. Over to Gerard Gallant. He shoots. Pad save, Wamsley. Another drive, and Wamsley makes the save on Tim Higgins. Bothwell with the puck. Can't get it out. It comes in front of Wamsley, and Ronning steers it to center ice. And the crowd really helping the Red Wings now. They're playing inspired hockey, getting the first goal. Todd Ewan clears the puck out for the Blues. There'll be no icing. Beach back to play it out to center ice. Onto the stick of Sean Bird. He's stopped by Benning, and the puck at center ice. A battle for it, and Gallant comes up with it. He can't avoid Benning at the St. Louis line, and then Ronning with the puck loses it to Gerard Gallant. Then the Blues stop the Wings again, only to have DeLorme shoot the puck in. Wamsley leaves it behind the net. Oates is there. He centers. Gallant doesn't see it. And the Blues come to center ice. Ronning. Quick pass to Ewan. One man back. Snaps. Ewan shoots. And it deflects just wide. 7:30 gone in the second period. It's 1-0 Detroit. And a hand pass by DeLorme to Oates in the Detroit zone, and the whistle stops play. Blues trailing 1-0 at Detroit. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
If you just ask for a light beer,
give me a light.
You never know what you'll get.
Bud Light.
Nice shot.
Heads up.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, ask for Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Well, Detroit got a goal by Klima. That's fired up the Red Wings, and they came back with a couple of other chances. Gallant with an excellent chance, and then Higgins on a rebound. And Rick Wamsley had to stand very tall for the Blues. Red Wings win the face-off in their own zone. DeLorme with a puck behind the Detroit net. Craig Steffen, the Red Wings goalie tonight. DeLorme on with Schneps, who takes his pass. Up to Bridgman at center ice with Kalima and Barr. Pass to Kalima. He's spun around and knocked down, and the puck goes to Wamsley. He grabs it and holds it in his trapper for a face-off with 12:05 remaining in period 2. Well, later tonight, Chicago will be on home ice to Toronto. Detroit, the Blues, and Toronto are all in the playoffs. And Chicago on home ice facing a crucial battle. If they win or tie, they're in. But if Toronto win, Minnesota can get in. And Minnesota is finished on the regular season. They're sitting home in Minnesota hoping for some help, and that's always a tough situation. You have to do it yourself. In this case, Minnesota need help from someone else.
Of course, that Toronto-Chicago game in Chicago doesn't start for another 25 minutes. Here it's 1-0 Detroit. Puck in the Blues zone. Burr hassling Paslowski. Finally, the puck to Cavallini at the St. Louis line. Up to center ice, a pass to Paslowski. He shoots it in. Out of the corner to the side of the net. Steffen leaves it for Norwood. Around the boards for Sean Burr. Burr lifts the puck to center ice. It comes down in the St. Louis zone. Ramage plays it. He's on defense with Pavis, who accepts his pass. Pavis up the middle, just out of the reach of Gilmore. Norwood at the Detroit defense. Off the boards for Gallant. He tips the puck ahead. Ramage whacks it away, and at center ice, Gilmore. Gilmore over the Detroit line. A shot deflects wide, bounds out in front, and Steffen clears to the corner. Helmetless defenseman O'Connell gets the puck up to Burr. He clears to center ice, and Hunter circling in his own zone now for the Blues. Leaves the puck for Bothwell. Bothwell rink wide to Cavallini. On to Ramage in front of the Blues bench. He just shoots it in as the Blues are changing players. Just past the 9-minute mark, period 2. Detroit has scored in this period to take a 1-0 lead. Hunter taken out along the boards in the Detroit zone. O'Connell can't clear. Bothwell centers the puck, and O'Connell knocks it away to Klima. He has the only goal of the game. His right wing pass too far, goes the length of the ice. Bothwell back, touches it. It's an icing call against the Red Wings. Detroit leads it 1-0. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
The game Monopoly has come to life at McDonald's. Win food, a Coca-Cola, $1 million, a Lincoln Town Car, a dream home, vacation, over $40 million in cash and prizes at McDonald's.
Bank owes me $200.
I wish that were real.
Now at McDonald's it is.
Come into McDonald's evenings after 4 p.m. and get 2 Monopoly game pieces. That's twice the opportunity to win big cash prizes.
I'm taking my top hat to McDonald's.
Why the top hat?
It is an evening event.
Previous games by the Blues here in Detroit this year, back in October, a 1-1 tie, then a 2-1 Blues overtime victory, and the last game in Detroit, also at the Joe Louis Arena, saw the Blues win in overtime.
Mark Hunter had a big overtime goal here to give the Blues a victory. They have that one win here. Detroit shoots the puck the length of the ice. Klima beats Natras to it. Now the puck loose behind the Blues net. Klima comes in front, falls down. And that allows Jocelyn Lemieux to take control. He wheels the puck up in the far wing to Hunter. He gives it to Natras, who sweeps the puck ahead to Lemieux. And a feed is behind Fedorko at the Detroit line. Delorme back. Red Wings control in their own zone. Gilbert Delorme. Oh, he's hit by Lemieux. Out to center ice, Barr. He dumps the puck in. Side of the net, Wamsley clears to the corners. Klima's taken out by Bourgeois. Benning and Barr bump. Loose puck. Klima gets it. Behind the net for David Barr. Into the far corner to Adam Oates. At the left point, Dave Lewis a shot, and it deflects just wide. Blues control the rebound. Lemieux sends it to center ice, and Adam Oates is there. Quick pass. In front, Wamsley making a move as the Red Wings trying to cut in. Mel Bridgman was stopped at the last moment. Now it's center ice, a loose puck, and the wings. Oates gets it. He'll shoot, and he shoots just wide. Reeds with a puck. Clears to center ice. Detroit controls again. Darren Veach shovels it into the Blues zone. Oates a drive, kicked out by Wamsley. Blues on the attack now. Fedorko at center ice with Benning, and it's offside. Blues at the Detroit line, and Dan Kelly, the Red Wings, have really come on here in the second period since getting that first goal of the game. There's 9:11 to go here in the second period. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
The energy game. At best, it's chancy. At worst, it's a disaster.
Oh, no.
This winter, save up to 42% on your heating bills with the high-efficiency Lennox Pulse gas furnace.
I'm Doug Drysdale.
And I'm Frank Drysdale.
In the St. Louis area, give us a call today for all your heating and cooling needs.
I'm Bruce Drysdale. On the St. Charles side of the bridge, call Mid-Rivers Heating and Air Conditioning for quality Lennox service and equipment.
When you play the energy game, you always win with Lennox.
When I was saying earlier is in earlier games this year at the Joe Louis Arena, the Blues got a tie, won in overtime, and their last meeting here in January, the Red Wings won that hockey game 4-3. So the Blues are 1-1-1 here at Detroit, but they're down by 1 goal here in the second period.
Neutral face-off. Pavis gets the puck, rams it in. It goes around the boards. Ewan gets it. Ewan, trying to get in front, has to circle into the corner. Back to the point to Ramage. He drives the puck behind the Detroit net. Wickenheiser there attempting to center Kent. He's checked by O'Connell. Now the Red Wings come to center ice. Land spun down. No call. The fans don't like it. Puck at the St. Louis line, and Pavis picks it off. Out to Ewan at center ice, and the Blues shoot the puck in. A battle in the Detroit zone for the puck with 8.5 minutes remaining in the second period. Here in Detroit, the Red Wings lead it 1-0 on a goal by Peter Klima. Puck into the Blues zone. Probert taken out by Pavis. Mahar with a puck. Head manning to Gilmore as the Blues attempt to come to center ice. Back to Pavis to the Detroit line. The Blues defenseman a wrist shot, and Greg Steffen the save. Sean Burr around to Gerard Gallant. Gallant at his own line for the Red Wings. They've been spurred on by the Klima goal here in the second period and have played the best hockey of the game. The Red Wings with the momentum at the moment. Cavallini in his own zone. Out at center ice to Gilmore. He's checked by Schneps. And Gallant to Burr. Burr shoots the puck into the blue zone. Red Wings lead it 1-0, though they have been outshot here by the Blues tonight, 14-11. Mattress deep in his own zone, off the boards behind the net. Bothwell trying to catch up with the puck, does, loses it in front. Burr beaten to the puck by Walmsley as the Blues have a momentary defensive lapse. Gilmore in his own zone for St. Louis. To center ice. He hits Burr with a pass. Bothwell covers up. The veteran defenseman lifts it high, and the puck will come down wide of the Detroit net. Beach clears the puck out to center ice, and it'll go the length of the ring. Back for Benning. He touches it. It's an icing call against the Detroit Red Wings with 7:10 to go in the second period, and the Red Wings leading it 1-0.
Ken Wilson, you mentioned since the Peter Klima goal, the Red Wings have dominated. Earlier, the Blues were in control. The Klima goal has been like oxygen to Jacques Demers and his Red Wings squad. Meanwhile, in the back of their minds, they have to have that 3-1 lead they had in Pittsburgh last night on their minds. They let it get away and then lost in overtime, while St. Louis was beating Minnesota, and that's what caused this showdown for first place tonight.
Face off in the Detroit zone, and Bourgeois shot deflects wide. Benning from the left point, and the shot deflects off Kosher and into the crowd, and there'll be a face-off with 7:02 to go in the second period.
In the first period, the Blues outshot the Red Wings 8-5. Here in the second, the Red Wings have had 3 shots. There's a chance moments ago as the puck was bouncing around in front of that Detroit goal. But no real scoring chance, just a threat as the puck bounced around there. The Blues in this game so far with 14 shots. That means they've had 6 shots in the second period to 3 for Detroit. But the Red Wings have had the better scoring opportunities ever since that goal by Klima at 5:21 of the period. His 30th of the year from Adam Oates. Interestingly enough, Klima earlier in the year was in the doghouse of the coach Jacques Demers. He ain't there now.
Face-off outside the Detroit blue line. Federico Hunter and Doug Evans on for the Blues. Bourgeois and Benning on defense. Beach to center ice. To Oates for Detroit. Oates along the near boards. Leaves the puck right point. Beats a shot wide. Puck comes in front. And a terrific save by Walmsley on Peter Klima. Boy, Peter Klima may have been in the doghouse, but he's still one of the most explosive players in the NHL. Doug Evans shoots the puck in, is checked by Klima. Dave Lewis gets it out to center ice for the Wings. Pavis is there to Doug Evans. He backhands it in, and Beach goes back for the Red Wings. Blues trail second period 1-0 here at a jam-packed Joe Louis Arena. Oates at center ice for the Wings with Klima and Barr. The shot off Ramage goes high, comes down behind Walmsley. And the Red Wings control. Klima in the corner. Beat to the puck by Federico. He loses it, then gets it right back. Federico has it stolen. Oates moves in front. A pass to Klima, and he can't get it. Penalty coming up. David Barr with the puck for Detroit. He centers. Pavis touches the puck, And there'll be a penalty called here against the Blues with 5:58 to go in the second period. Blues trail 1-0. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
This Bud's for all that you do.
Today a landscaper, tomorrow a college student. Yep. Finally took your advice, Mike.
You taught him.
Already you're smart.
All you knew. They say he's a lot like you. Yeah, you make America work, and this Bud's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
To a future architect. And to a brother who made it possible.
This Bud's for you.
Well, Detroit with a 1-0 lead now in a power play. Rob Ramage, a roughing penalty, 14:02 here in the second period. And the Red Wings with the lead now with an opportunity to put their power play to work here in the second period. Detroit on the power play. Red Wings this year on the power play, 12th best in the league, 69 goals, a 20.8%.
Red Wings power play. They lead 1-0, and from the face-off, the Blues get the puck and clear it the length of the ice. Reeds, Mahar, Natras, and Bothwell in front of Rick Wamsley for St. Louis. Blues had the better of the play in the first period, but since Kalima scored early in the second period, it's been all Detroit. Yzerman leading the Detroit power play, shoots the puck in. Mahar gets there and whacks it the length of the ice. In front of Stefan on Jacques Demir's power play, it's Norwood and Beach on the points. Ashton, Yzerman, and Gallant are the forwards. Lee Norwood, the Detroit native, the former St. Louis Blues player, to center ice. He'll shoot the puck in, but it hits Bothwell in the skate. Now Darren Beach will drill it in, and the former Washington Capital gets the job done. Back is Gilmore. He eludes Gallant. Dangerous path to Bothwell, but Bothwell able to clear the zone. The Blues with one of the better penalty-killing units in the NHL. Detroit driving the puck in again. Wamsley leaves it for Natras. He's in some heavy traffic. Beach knocks the puck down, but Gilmore passes to center ice to Pazlowski. One man back. The shot and a glove save by Stefan. Oh, what a save by the Red Wings goalie as Pazlowski lets one go with the Blues shorthanded.
And what a shot by Pazlowski. A wicked drive as he took Gilmore's pass, just crossed the blue line and let fly. And an excellent glove save by the Red Wing goaltender. He has to shake his hand a little bit about now, though. Pazlowski really got wood on it. There you see it from the way the goaltender sees it. And a heck of a save. Meanwhile, still 49 seconds left in the St. Louis penalty.
It has been an outstanding game for first place in the Norris Division before a gigantic crowd here at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. And of course, both teams eager to find out what will happen at Chicago Stadium in the next few hours. This one will long be over before there's a Toronto-Chicago outcome tonight. The Red Wings and the Blues both opening up the playoffs at home Wednesday night in the first round best-of-7 series. Red Wings win the face-off in their own zone. O'Connell back of the net with a puck. He's on defense with Delorme, gives to Oates. He barrels down the left wing, rifles the puck in. Wamsley slows it down. Barr in the corner, plays it to Kalima behind the net. He runs into Bourgeois, who loses the puck to Barr. Now loose along the boards. Delorme pinches in to force the puck ahead to Barr, and then Mahar comes up with it and clears it to center ice. 20 seconds to go in Ramage's penalty. Delorme fires the puck in for Detroit, and Bourgeois sucks it the length of the ice. Detroit getting booed now. They're late in a power play. They lead the Blues 1-0. Just over 4 minutes remaining in the second period. Peter Kalima, the only goal of the game here in the second period. That goal coming at 5:21, his 30th of the year from Adam Oates. Now the penalty to Ramage is over. Red Wings control in their own zone. O'Connell too far for Kalima. The Blues tip the puck back in. Delorme there. He's bumped on the play by Evans, and Bothwell is shot wide. Here's Hunter, side of the net, bad angle. Can't feed in front around O'Connell. They battle in the corner for the puck. The Wings Barr comes up with it, feeds it along the near boards. Bothwell gets in the way of Oates, but Oates kicks the puck to center ice. Finally coming up with it is Barr to Oates over the St. Louis line. He's stopped by Natras. Bothwell gets the puck. Head manning to Natras. He'll just shoot it in as the two teams complete a player change. Beach in his own zone, bumped to the ice, but clears to center ice. Ramage stops the puck there, leaves it for Evans. Evans misses a Lewis check, and Beach controls back of the Detroit net. 3 minutes remaining. Intercepting Evans. He takes a shot. That hits the skate of Oates. He clears the puck out. Back inside the St. Louis line, Ramage, the first man to reach the puck. Leaves it behind the net for Pavis. Blues trail 1-0. The winner of this game finishes first in the Norris Division. Pavis behind the Blues net. Plays the puck along the boards. Lewis comes in from the point to knock it down. Now it's loose. Here's Fedorko. Stick handling at center ice. Bernie Fedorko. Cavallini breaks for the net. Fedorko, a shot and a backhand drive high. The net comes loose behind Greg Steffen, and play is stopped with 2:25 to go in the second period. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
This young woman is about to repair her own car. As you watch, she's actually fixing one of the biggest problems facing today's engines: clogged fuel injectors. She's fixing it with Mobile Super Unleaded Gasoline. Its advanced detergent formula can unclog fuel injectors and give your car a new injection of power. Drive your engine clean with Mobile Super Unleaded, high octane with a plus.
I don't know if it was the Blues penalty killing or poor play by the Red Wings on that last power play, but they didn't look very good.
From the face-off, Paslowski, a shot block. He and Delorme go into the corner, body against body. They vie for the puck. Delorme goes down, gets back up. Then the puck cleared out by Sean Byrne. Back for it, Brian Benning. He looks up ice, shoots the puck in. They say the Wings could have played it. No icing. Gilmore and Schnepp's back. Puck comes high. They hold it against the boards on the rail. And a whistle and a face-off coming up. With 2:01 remaining in the second period, a 1-0 game Detroit. And Dan Kelly, there's a semi-joke going around that these two teams figure to meet in the second round of the playoffs. It'll be such a defensive series. Every game will be 2-1, and the seventh game will be decided in overtime by a 2-1 score. And I think when the people see this one tonight, they'll say, well, it's not really a joke.
Well, meanwhile, I'll watch a lot of 1-0 games like this, or 1-1 games, because it's been a very good hockey game. Blues have still the edge in the shot department, 15-11, but Detroit has the only goal. The goal by Klima, and of course on that one, Walmsley didn't have a chance.
Face off in the Detroit zone, and the puck comes out to center ice where Benning plays it. Less than 2 minutes to go in the period. Benning shoots the puck in around behind the Detroit net, and Schnepp ends up with it. Playing it up on the right wing for Higgins. He tips it to center ice, and Benning will go back for it. Puck was hit by a Blues high stick, and as Benning touches it, the play is whistled dead by referee Andy Van Helleman.
I haven't got the official tab on the crowd, but it's over 19,000, and this is the 25th 19,000 plus crowd of the year at the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. Into the thick of this game. That's one thing also that the goal by Klima did. It got the crowd very much into this game, and that's a big factor for the home team, in this case the Red Wings.
Benning with a puck deep in his own zone, and Gallant tips the pass attempt, and it sails into the crowd. The Blues have outshot Detroit 15-11, but Peter Klima has scored the only goal of this contest. Well, when this evening is done, the NHL regular season will be over, and the Blues will know their opponent in the first round of the best-of-7 playoff series. Gerard Gallant has had quite a season for the Detroit Red Wings. He has really blossomed under Jacques Demers. Gilmore wins the draw in the Blues zone. Walmsley hands the puck to the Red Wings, and a centering effort by Byrne. Gilmore intercepts. Ed Manning to Cavallini. Cavallini at center ice. Over the line, a shot wide. Then Paslowski hits the goal post as that puck came right back out in front. Now a penalty coming up to Detroit. Walmsley to the bench. Gallant will touch the puck, and the whistle, and the penalty will be called against the Detroit Red Wings. A high sticking penalty. Oh, moments ago, Greg Paslowski hitting the post. Let's pause here 15 seconds for station identification. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
KPLR TV, St. Louis. Blues hockey is brought to you in part by Allstate. Leave it to the good hands people to insure your home, your car, your business, or your family.
19,743, second largest crowd of the year in Detroit and the largest ever for a Blues game. Meanwhile, Vasilevsky hitting a goal post earlier, and now a penalty against the Detroit Red Wings against Gilbert Delorme for high sticking. And the Blues with a power play chance. 1:14 left in the second period.
Gilmore facing off against the veteran Bridgman. Bridgman wins the draw. Red Wings control Higgins. Higgins knocked down at center ice. The puck underneath some bodies. And everyone gathers around as play has been stopped with 1:07 remaining here in the second period.
Last few weeks of the season, the Blues power play has been just terrific. General manager Ron Caron, who's in his 4th season here, says it's certainly the best power play he's seen the Blues have since he's come. And the key to it, of course, the emergence of Gilmore, who's out at center right now with Hunter and Fedorko on the wings. Fedorko and Hunter have been there before. Ramage is a point man. And also the emergence of Benning. Plus, I think the input and the technology of the power play by the studious Jacques Martin. It's been something to see in recent weeks.
Neutral faceoff. Meanwhile, Hunter trying to get position with Dave Lewis, and the linesman and referees step in. Hunter is on with Gilmore, Fedorko, Benning, and Ramage in front of Walmsley. And now Andy Van Hellemond, the veteran referee, steps in and lays down the law. 1:07 to go, second period. Klima has scored. Red Wings lead 1-0. First place is at stake here tonight. Wrap-up game of the regular season. Blues have the power play for 1:50, and that would carry on into the third period. Hunter taking a wild swipe with his stick at Lewis. That's the crowd reaction. Fedorko, a pass broken up, and Lewis clears the puck the length of the ice. Sliding out Walmsley, a glove save. Benning with the puck. 47 seconds to go in period 2. Benning charges up the middle of the rink, shoots the puck in. It ends up behind the Detroit net. Steffen leaves it. Hunter there, trying to center, can't. Norwood intercepts and whacks the puck off the boards the length of the ice. Now the Red Wings, some fresh penalty killers. Half a minute to go in the period. Benning, a right wing pass for Gilmore broken up, then brought in offside by Hunter as Hunter and Norwood have words. Only 28 seconds to go here in the second period, and the Red Wings with that 1-0 lead, and at the moment the Wings are shorthanded.
Still 1:15 left in the penalty to Gilbert Delorme for high sticking. Blues with the 4th best rated power play in the National Hockey League. They've had 78 goals, 24.3%. Only the Auditors, Los Angeles, and league-leading Calgary have more percentage than Jacques Martin's St. Louis club. Behind the Blues bench, Jacques Martin, the rookie coach, along with injured team captain Brian Sutter, who in the past month or so has joined Martin behind the bench in home and away games.
Face off outside the Detroit blue line. The Blues trying to end the regular season with 3 consecutive victories and their 6th first place finish in 20 years. Fedorko stop, bumped down by Schneps, and the Red Wings control the puck. Bridgman to center ice with Tim Higgins. 14 seconds to go in the period. A Bridgman shot wide, and Ramage has the puck. Blues will have to hurry to come up ice. 7 seconds to go in the period. They have the power play. Ramage's shot knocked down by Schneps. 2 seconds to go, and that is the end of the second period here in Detroit before almost 20,000 fans. The battle for first place in the Norris division, and the only goal in the period to the Red Wings. Peter Klima gets that goal, his 30th of the year, from Adam.
Gets the puck into the Detroit zone. Number 17, Big Gino Cavallini. And eventually the Blues Vasilevsky will blast one and hit the goalpost. Comes to Vasilevsky, boom, by the goaltender Steffen, but hit the goalpost. And that's been the difference in this hockey game. Meanwhile, anything can happen in the third period between these two teams with just a 1-goal difference.
Well, I go back to that game. I think we remember so well that coming in on the right wing in overtime, a long shot that Mark Hunter took that gave the Blues their overtime win, and right about now I'd take a 2-1 overtime victory and head home on the charter to St. Louis with first place. That would be awfully nice.
Still anybody's hockey game, John, and we'll be watching the third period closely.
Blues playoff action at the arena begins Wednesday and Thursday nights. First 2 games of the...
See those rifles over there? Take a look. I just pointed you now.
4 on the road Saturday and Sunday next weekend. Either...
We can use our guns freely now.
Wait, Judge, we have to be sure.
No question in my mind at all, Julie. Kane's been lying to us. Sheriff's dead and gone by now. And I think it's high time that we put a finish to the man who killed him.
There must be some way to get Randall out of there.
Not without maybe one of us being hurt, and there's no reason for that.
A lot of water on the ice. It's very warm here in the Joe Louis Arena tonight, and much of the water from the reflooding has not frozen as yet. But here they go at the third period anyway. The Blues down by 1. And on a power play, DeLorme still in the penalty box. Bending into Pederko. Pederko on left wing. Into the corner, trying to make a play. Bernie Pederko holding on to the puck. Back on the point to Ramage. Shooting. They score! Deflected, I believe, by Mark Hunter or Gilmore. And it's tied 1-1. A power play goal here early in the third.
The Blues power play comes through again. The 4th best power play in the NHL. Pederko. Fine pass, threading it to Ramage. And the shot seemed to be deflected out in the slot and then went off the right leg of goaltender Greg Steffen.
I think it was Gilmore. He was the furthest man out, Ken.
Gilmore, of course, has had an absolutely sensational season. An 8-game scoring streak with 20 points coming into this one for Gilmore. Now it's 1-1.
A 1-1 game. We'll wait for the announcement, but I think it's Gilmore and Detroit. Now, after leading 1-0, shoot it in. Now they give it to Ramage, but we could have a change on that. Back comes Paslowski to Gilmore. 2-on-1 break. Gilmore moving in. Gilmore into the slot, shoots. He scores! Gilmore, and it's quickly 2-1 for the Blues. And we haven't played the first minute of the third period.
52nd mark for Gilmore. A toothless grin, a black eye, a few stitches on the left cheek, and maybe some cold blood for everyone after the game. First place at stake. What a move Gilmore makes on DeLorme and beats goaltender Greg Steffen. It was a 2-on-1 break. Gilmore wanted to pass, but didn't really have an opportunity. Didn't want to go to his backhand. Fakes on DeLorme and goes onto the glove side. What a shot low along the ice by Doug Gilmore. His 41st goal of the season. Give him at least 104 points now.
Here are the Blues shooting it in and leading 2-1. Gilmore got that one for sure. Here's Reeds into the corner. Reeds drops to Bothwell, shoots off the glove of Steffen into the corner. Here's Rick Mahar. Round on the boards to Reeds. Back of the net. Here's Mahar into the corner, centered. Wickenheiser open, but cleared away by O'Connell. Now Mahar trying to poke it free for Mark Reeds. Reeds for the Blues, centered. Steffen cleared it away. Mahar the rebound. Steffen stopped that. And the Red Wings come back. Here they come with Yzerman. In across the line. Wickenheiser tied him up. And now Mahar, or at least it's Natras back to get the loose puck. Out to Mahar. Rick Mahar firing it in. Glove save by Steffen. How quickly this game is turned around. Here's Yzerman getting it to center. Hunter into Pederko. He breaks in. Shoots. Steffen, pad save. And he held on to it. Well, the fortune started to change in this third period when Brett Berenson, the ex-Blues coach, ex-Blues player, now the coach at Michigan, walked into the booth. We're going to keep him here for all of the third period.
Always good to see number 7. First goal Paderco and Benning assisting. Ramage from the right point, letting it go on the power play. The question is, was it tipped by Gilmore? And it would appear to have been tipped, but they give it to Ramage, his 11th, 22 seconds into the third period. That tied it at 1. Then at the 52nd mark, Paslowski setting up Gilmore for his 41st. So Ramage and Gilmore have scored. Kalima, the only Detroit goal. What a game tonight here at Joe Louis Arena.
2-1, the Blues leading. If the Blues win, they'll finish first. Here's Darren Beach for Detroit. Out of his own zone. Shooting it into the St. Louis zone. Hustling back after it is Pavis. Pavis couldn't clear it. Red Wings get it. Try and center. Now Oates with the puck. He's checked, and here's Bernie Paderco. And we're going to get a penalty as over in the corner, Jim Pavis was tied up with a Red Wing player. And somebody's going to get a penalty, maybe both. We'll wait and see. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Eventually for both goals, Ramage and Gilmore getting the goals for the moment. They could well look at it and later change the Ramage goal to Gilmore. I don't think Gilmore is too concerned. The Blues want a victory. Hunter gets a penalty. I believe what happened is Peter Kalima was dumped in front of the net. On the right of your screen, he's cross-checked down by Mark Hunter, and that's the penalty for Mark Hunter. He picks up a 2-minute interference penalty. Good work by the crew and our director Brian Sipe to pick out that penalty, and the Blues now have to play it shorthanded. Still a lot of time remaining.
2-1, Detroit on a power play. The Blues leading from the faceoff. Puck cleared around in the boards to Reeds. He tried to get it out of there. Now at the point, Beach shooting it in. Red Wings Dave Barr in the corner, leaving it there for Adam Oates. Oates centered it. Misses everyone, comes to the point to Beach. Here's Beach, shoots one. Walmsley the save. Nattress's rebound play clears it down the ice, and the Red Wings have to go back. Darren Beach, number 5, the ex-Washington Capital. Detroit trailing. Beach firing it in. Shoots it around under the boards, digging in to get it. Oates, he couldn't get it, and Gilmore clears the puck out of there, and Beach has to go back. His pass to Adam Oates. Oates into center ice. Checked by Paslowski, and it's knocked back to the Detroit Red Wing blue line. Here's Lee Norwood. Norwood into center ice. And getting it to Brent Ashton. Broken up by Ramage and cleared to the Red Wing line. Now Beach shoots it in on right wing. Here comes Ashton, dropping it back to Yzerman, to Ashton. Into the corner. Red Wings drop it back on the point to Beach. Shot nowhere near the net. Bounced in front. Red Wings center it. And intercepting it is Brian Benning. And Benning clears it out of there. Out of the goal, Steffen feeds it up for O'Connell. 32 seconds left in the penalty. Here's Gallant, but he couldn't control it. Ramage to center. Here's Mahar on a breakaway. In the clear. Missed the net. Mahar was in alone, but missed the net. Back comes Steve Yzerman. Into the blue zone. Trying to feed it through. Tied up on the play, now centered. Gallant shoots it wide. And it bounces off the boards all the way back to the Detroit line. 6 seconds left in the Blues penalty. Here's Mike O'Connell. O'Connell into center ice. Feeding it into Higgins. Shoots it wide. Higgins, another shot from a bad angle wide. And now Hunter back on. Here's Paderco with Hunter to center. Paderco leaving it for Hunter. Over on the wing to Evans. Back of the net to Bernie Paderco. Paderco in front. Centered it. Missed Evans with the pass. Comes to center. And Nattress is back for the Blues. Nattress to Mark Hunter. In across the line to Paderco, but it's offside at the Red Wing blue line. 15:23 left. 2-1 Blues. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
My secret pizza recipe has 7 critical steps. You get just one wrong, forget the pizza. Here we go. 3 down and 4 to go. Yo, Gino. Yeah, hold on for a second. But one thing you can't forget. Natural Light, the beer with a taste for food. Gino? Yeah, the usual. No, better cut it up into 6 pieces. Yeah, I should need 8.
Yeah, all natural, less filling. It's Natural Light from Anheuser-Busch.
That's it. Try Natural Light. On me.
Well, the Detroit Red Wings trailing 2-1 with 15:23 to go, playing as though it's the last couple of minutes of action. So the Blues are going to have their hands full. You wouldn't expect anything else.
Not at all. It's been that kind of season. Now the Red Wings, Lewis clearing it down the ice. They rule the Blues could have played it, and there's no icing. Wamsley gets it out on right wing. Mark Hunter to Pedirko. Here's Bernie Pedirko into the Red Wing zone. Pedirko trying to center it, but it went off Klima's skate. And Peter Klima starts back. Into center ice to Sean Bird. Here's the Red Wing rookie Bird dumping it in. Now the Blues come up with the puck. Evans quickly to Hunter. Hunter to center. Winds up. Long shot high off the glass. Going back is DeLorme for Detroit. Trying to clear it out. Gilmore held it in, but couldn't get a shot off, and DeLorme takes over again. Here's Paslowski holding it in. Paslowski into the corner. Centered. Cavallini hit the crossbar, I believe. And then Stepan able to smother it. And Cavallini either hit the shaft of the stick or the crossbar. I'm not sure which, but it was almost in.
Cavallini with a good opportunity. Paslowski centering. And Greg Stepan was fortunate to keep that from making it 3-1 St. Louis. But Paslowski did a good job in the corner. It's hard to tell exactly where it hit. Might have hit the crossbar, the shaft of the stick. Might have even hit the upper part of the outside of the net.
Former Blues coach and player Red Berenson. You brought us luck, sir. Stay here.
Well, Dan, I just got to the game, but I watched St. Louis score their first 2 goals, and that should make for an exciting third period.
Well, Red Barron here in the broadcast booth with us. Former Blues great player and coach. Of course, he also was a former Red Wing at one time. There's a jam up on the boards right at the St. Louis bench. Puck coming loose. Detroit get it, and it's fired in by the Red Wings. Back is Ramage. Cleared around onto the boards. Detroit trying to center. Ramage has it. Ramage kicking it loose, and here's Gilmore. And Gilmore flips it out of there. And going back to pick it up is O'Connell. O'Connell shot it to center. Knocked down by Benning. Now to Cavallini. He's bumped by Sneps, but Cavallini cleared it in. And the Red Wing goaltender stepping out of the net. Shooting it around onto the boards to Bob Probert. Probert shoots it to center. Here's Wickenheiser flipping it right back in. And the Red Wings have to go back. It's O'Connell clearing it. Now comes right back to O'Connell. O'Connell being checked by Mahar. Works it out onto right wing, but Wickenheiser took his man out of the play. And back comes Benning shooting it in. Adam Oates has it for Detroit. Oates to Probert. Missed him. Shot back out by Bourgeois. Oh, and then Probert decks Reeds with a tough check. Right at the St. Louis blue line. And we get a stoppage in play, but no penalty. Red Berenson, you're at the University of Michigan. How are you enjoying the college hockey life?
Well, I'm enjoying it, Dan, and I cross paths with a lot of my old friends from pro hockey, and we're producing a lot of fine young players for the National Hockey League, so I'm just at a different level, but I'm enjoying it very much.
You better watch what you say. Your old speech coach, Barclay Plager, will be listening to all this, you know.
Well, I'm waiting for Bark's sons to grow up so they can come to Michigan and then go on and play in the National Hockey League.
What are you looking for, a riotous team there? Tough type hockey club?
Well, the college hockey is tough hockey, Dan. You have to be a tough kid to play it, and of course you have to have skills as well, but I see a number of the old pros' sons now playing college hockey, and we think there's something to the fact that the genes continue on, and Bobby Hull's son, for example, was a good college hockey player, is now playing pro. There are a number of others. I'd like to see Kevin Plager playing at Michigan.
That's Red Berenson, who brought us luck in the early part of this period. 2-1, the Blues lead. Natras back to get it. Giving it to Mark Reeds. Cleared it to the line. Held in by Veach. Veach couldn't get it in. Now Wickenheiser coming up with it. Into center ice to Rick Mahar. And Mahar in center ice, shooting it in. Red Wings Dave Lewis back to get it. Lewis trying to clear it. Got it up the middle. Iserman couldn't get anywhere. Now Brent Ashton. He's checked by Reeds. Now at center, Joe Kosher for Detroit. Squeezed out by Natras. And back to get the loose puck is Jocelyn Lemieux. Over on left wing to Wickenheiser. He's checked. Now the Red Wings hold it in, but Natras carries out. Natras to center ice. Scooping it in. Going back is Kosher, number 26. Circles his own goal. Firing it up the middle. Here's Klima into the blue zone. Klima in on the wing, and Yzerman shot it wide. Now Bourgeois trying to get it out. Snaps held it into Klima. Centered. Lewis shoots. Or Barr shoots. He scores. Dave Barr ties this game up.
Blues had trouble getting out of their own end. Federico and Hunter couldn't get the puck out at the point, and Barr with a low shot seemed to go through the legs of Rick Wamsley. But the Blues were careless in their own end, didn't quite have enough intensity to get the job done. Klima sets up Barr moving in on the right side, and all of a sudden it's 2-2. And boy, Dave Barr has had some huge goals for the Detroit Red Wings since coming here from Hartford.
Hold on to your hat now, folks. The ex-Blues player, the ex-Hartford Whaler, Dave Barr, has just tied it. Now Detroit clearing it in. Ramage back to get it. And that's an icing call against the Red Wings. 11:48 left in regulation time. 2-2 the score. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Experience the most luscious sunrise in the world. Hardee's Canadian Sunrise Biscuit. Real Canadian bacon, cheese, farm fresh egg, and hickory smoked bacon on Hardee's made-from-scratch Rise and Shine biscuit. For a taste so special, it'll brighten your whole day. Hardee's, we're out to win you over.
Play underway, the Red Wings. Dave Barr, who just scored, in checking on Federico. Now the Blues come back with Mark Hunter. Hunter got it out of the zone. Oates at center, shooting it back in. Wamsley there to clear it. And now Doug Evans at center to Hunter. Hunter firing it into the Detroit zone. O'Connell there to pick it up and clear it out on Norwood. Natras held it in. His shot off of Norwood. Now Cavallini shooting. Save made by Stepan. And Adam Oates starts back. Oates to center. This crowd is going nuts. Here's Oates into the blue zone. Centered, but Federico calmly intercepts. Back he comes to Paslowski. Paslowski shoots one. Stepan stood up, took it against his chest, and O'Connell cleared it on the boards to Gallant. Gallant to center. Shooting it in. Doug Gilmour back after it. To Cavallini. He shot it to center. Taken there. Beach waits for his team to get onside. Fires it in. In after it is Burr, a shot. Gilmour blocked that, and back comes Doug Gilmour. Gilmour to center. Into the Red Wing zone. Trying to go through the defense. Pulled down on the play. And Stepan cleared it away. And it comes all the way to the St. Louis blue line. Benning back to get it. Benning at center. Shooting it in. Going back and controlling is Dave Lewis. He fired it out to center. Bourgeois giving it to Gilmour. To Bourgeois. Now to Benning. Ahead to Paslowski. Trying to shoot it in, but Beach intercepts. Beach ahead to Burr, but Bourgeois cleared it. And Paslowski flips it to the Detroit line with Beach back after it. 2-2 the score. Here's Darren Beach. High and wide with a long shot. Mahar back into his zone. Over to Ramage. Now out to Reeds, who tipped it to center. Steps knocks it down. DeLorme into center ice to Bridgman. Wickenheiser takes out two Red Wings, and the puck comes to the St. Louis line. Bourgeois to Ramage. Back to, or at least Bothwell to Ramage. Back to Bothwell. Now to Mahar. In across the line to Reeds. Reeds shoots one. Cleared away by DeLorme. And then Bridgman feeds Yzerman. Steve Yzerman for Detroit. Trying to go around Bothwell. Yzerman spins. Still has the puck. Yzerman still with the puck behind the net. Ramage and Heath alive. Ashton shot it behind the goal. Blues come up with it. And here's Bothwell to Reeds at center. Reeds, long shot. Off the blocker of Stepan. And then over the glass and into the crowd. 8:38 left. 2-2 the score. The Red Wings need only a tie to clinch first place. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
The energy game. At best, it's chancy. At worst, it's a disaster.
Oh, no.
This winter, save up to 42% on your heating bills with the high-efficiency Lennox Pulse gas furnace.
Meet Ray Weiss of Weiss Comfort Systems, where customer satisfaction is their #1 priority.
Thanks, Dave.
Let Dick Cole and his winning team at Cole Heating and Cooling in Belleville cut your utility bills.
We do the job right all the time.
When you play the energy game, you always win with Lennox.
Steve Yzerman, the youngest captain in the history of the Detroit Red Wings franchise, can be dazzling. He put on the brakes, tried to elude Barr, shovels by him with an amazing turn, goes behind the St. Louis net, spins around. Just some terrific work by Steve Yzerman, the Detroit Red Wings center, as he ends up dumping Ramage. Barr's goal to tie it from Klima and Schneps at 7:59.
From the faceoff, Benning to Bourgeois. Moving in, shooting, step on the save. And O'Connell cleared the rebound to Lee Norwood. Norwood to Klima. Here's Klima. Into the blue zone. Checked in the play, gets it again. Into the corner, but Fedorko is there. Fedorko back of the net to Bourgeois. Over on right wing for Mark Hunter. Hunter trying to clear it, did get it to center. And back comes Oates for Detroit. Into the blue zone. Oates trying to center. Fedorko there to kick it away. And Klima has it at center ice for Detroit. Peter Klima scooping it up into the St. Louis zone. Less than 8 minutes to play in regulation time. 2-2. Here's Benning to Doug Evans, who shoots it in. And Darren Beach goes back after it. Beach to Gallant at center ice. Gallant fires it in. Racing in the Red Wing player. Burr centered a shot. Big save, Walmsley on Tim Higgins. Higgins was in all alone. Here are the Blues with Cantolini bumping at center ice. Now to Gilmore. He moves in. Gilmore trying to drop it back. And a Red Wing player. Higgins is down on the ice and injured at center ice, and that stops play.
Higgins seemed to hurt his knee. On the play, he seemed to stick out his leg to trip Cavallini. And as it turns out, Higgins gets hurt with 7:21 to go. Blues 2, Red Wings 2. Oh, what a period. What a game. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. Have that little extra.
By the way, they've changed the scoring in the Blues' first goal. Gilmore gets the goal instead of Ramage, as we thought he would. So Gilmore has both. Here's Bourgeois. Stepping a big save on Bourgeois' shot. And back come the Red Wings, clearing in Bridgman. Bourgeois for the Blues. To Rick Mahar. Tipped by Wickenheiser to Reeds. Reeds at center. Flips it in. Steppen gives it to Mike O'Connell. O'Connell cleared it out. Doug Evans for the Blues intercepts. Now Yzerman for Detroit. Couldn't get through Bothwell and Ramage. And this is Mark Hunter for St. Louis. He's checked in the play. Now Ramage at center for Evans, number 32. Doug Evans into the Red Wing zone. Centered. Bothwell across for Bernie Fedorko. Back to Ramage. Shooting. Steppen kicked it out as he kicked that stick with his skate and steered it into the corner. And it's held there, and we're down to 4:50 remaining in regulation time. Right here, we'll pause 15 seconds for station identification. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
KPLR TV St. Louis. Portions of tonight's game are brought to you by McDonald's. Come into your local McDonald's and play McDonald's Monopoly. It's your chance to win more than $40 million in cash and prizes.
Gilmore, 2 goals for the Blues. Klima and Barr have scored for the Red Wings, and it's all on the line now.
The Red Wings, with a tie, would wrap up first place. The Blues must win, and remember, we'd have overtime, and you could see some crazy things there if the Blues are tied in that situation, but need a win for first place.
There's no question that the Blues just go all out. Why not in overtime? They have absolutely nothing to lose. They have the home ice advantage starting Wednesday night in the best-of-7 first-round playoff series. I think the most impressive thing, Dan, about the Blues last night at home against Minnesota and here tonight in Detroit has been the fact that they have been very consistent. I think they've been extremely sharp in been very steady. There have been very few ups and downs these last two games for the Blues in their performance. The crowd tonight has been against them. A lot of things have happened. They've fallen behind, but they've been very consistent.
Chicago leads Toronto 2-0 in the first period of that game at Chicago Stadium. That score has just been flashed on the board. Now the Red Wings clear it down the ice, and they'll be called for icing on the play.
And I think, Dan, the key to the consistency, the importance of it is that when you go into the playoffs, the intensity increases, the crowds are more against you on the road, and you must be consistent. You must be very steady. When you get behind, you can't get rattled. I think the Blues are in tip-top shape to begin the playoffs Wednesday night.
They've outshot the Red Wings here 26-14 to this point in the game. Now Detroit cleared out, and here's Adam Oates down left wing into the St. Louis zone. Couldn't get through the defense, and it's shot back out by Doug Evans into the Detroit zone. Steppen leaving it for Dave Lewis, number 25, to Peter Klima. Shot to center. Blues Benning knocking it down. Now here comes Klima into the blue zone. Shoots. Shot it just wide. Red Wings trying to center. Get it into the corner. Now Cavallini. Back of the net. Came in front. Walmsley couldn't clear it. And we'll get a penalty here against Hunter. He pulled down Adam Oates. A hooking call against Mark Hunter. And Detroit will have a power play. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
When you come to Meineke Discount Mufflers, relax.
I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
You're not going to pay a lot for your muffler.
I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
Meineke's the nation's discount muffler leader. We'll fix your car the right way at the right price from $18.93 installed.
Oh, I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
You're not going to pay a lot at Meineke.
2-0. Chicago leads at home over Toronto in the first period. If Chicago wins and the Blues win, the Blues would play Toronto. But if Chicago wins and the Blues lose or tie, the Blues would play Chicago in the first round. Hunter picks up a hooking penalty here at 16-16 of the third period with a score tied at 2. Well, Dan Kelly, here's the opportunity for the Blues to see if they can continue their dominance tonight with the special teams. They've really shut down the Red Wing power play.
That they have. Here's Rob Ramage for the Blues, trying to clear it, and he does. Shoot it all the way down the ice. Norwood, number 23, going back to get it. Lee Norwood leaves it behind the net. Here's Mike O'Connell. Detroit in this 2-2 game on a power play. All the Red Wings need is a tie to clinch first. O'Connell shoots it in. Back is Ramage. Can't clear it. Gallant centered, but Gilmore picked it up. Gilmore and Paslowski back for the Blues. To Paslowski to Gilmore. O'Connell cleared it away. And Yzerman comes back for Detroit. They head to Gallant. Gerard Gallant trying to center. Intercepted. Paslowski failed to clear it. Ramage taken out of the play. Ramage continuing to battle. And it's held long enough that we get a stoppage in play. 2:50 left in regulation time. 1:06 left in the Blues penalty to Mark Hunter.
In this contest, the Blues have been dominant in shots on goal, though it's tied at 2. The Red Wings, here on their home ice, have had only 14 shots on goal tonight. The Blues have had 26 shots on goal. Twice tonight, the Detroit Red Wings have really been fired up when they have scored. They scored in the second period to lead it. They scored here in the third period to tie it at 2. This crowd of almost 20,000 seemed to give the Wings a lift, but on both occasions, the Blues continued to be very consistent and not bothered at all. That's been a big factor.
Here are the Blues with Mahar dropping it to Rick Natras. Into center ice. Mahar tipped it down the ice. Red Wings still on a power play. Beach back to get it. Leaves it there. Natras held it in. He's checked, and Detroit break out. But a pass to Klima around Bothwell. In on goal. Weak shot as Reeds got back to bother Klima. And then Walmsley made the easy save. Now Mahar upended, and Detroit will get a penalty. And each team will be a man short for 34 seconds. And then the Blues will have a power play. Dave Barr will go for tripping.
And certainly you do have the interesting situation here where the Blues need a victory. So they really be going for broke the rest of the way in regulation and or in overtime. No question, Mahar yanked down. And Dave Barr, who scored the tying goal in this third period, will go off for Detroit. Well, this is the way it should be. First place decided in the Norris Division on the final night of the regular season. These two teams in their first 7 meetings, 3 St. Louis wins, 3 Detroit wins, and a tie. The 3 meetings here previously, Detroit a win, St. Louis a win, and a tie. So it has been a very, very even season series. It's been an even season for these two teams, the Blues and the Red Wings, and they come right down to the end here in the 86-87 season.
Here are the Blues, each team a man short. Eventually the Blues, barring other penalties, will have the man advantage. Bothwell to center. Gilmore to Paslowski. Into the Red Wing zone to Bourgeois, but the puck came outside the line. Bourgeois carried back in, it's offside. 18 seconds left in Hunter's penalty. 1:44 left in the Dave Barr penalty.
And the Red Wings, of course, have been in first place seemingly forever. They haven't finished first since the 64-65 season, 22 years. So this crowd of almost 20,000 here tonight to celebrate. They hoped the Detroit Red Wings first place finish, and as Dan Kelly has pointed out, a tie or a victory will do it for Detroit. The Blues, to celebrate on their charter back home to St. Louis, must win. They must win to take the Norris Division title.
The Red Wings have been in first place since February 7th. Detroit controlling in their own zone. Delorme shot it to center, knocked down by Benning, cleared in. Now at center ice, Brent Ashton into the Blues zone. Ramage took him out, and Gilmore, who's had both of the Blues goals, shoots it to the Detroit line. Delorme, long shot. Wamsley stops that. Hunter back on. Blues on a power play. Here comes Benning into the Red Wing zone. Benning clearing it behind the net to Gilmore. Over to Fedorko. Bernie Fedorko for the Blues. Blues on a power play. 1:20 left, centering it. Tipped away by Detroit. Gilmore in the corner. Very calmly controlling it. Back to Ramage. Over to Benning. Benning shooting. Big save, Steffen. And Burr clears the rebound and cleared it up over the glass. 1:03 left in regulation. 45 seconds left in Barr's penalty.
One of the Blues goals tonight already on the power play, and Doug Gilmore has scored both of the St. Louis goals. Benning letting the shot go. Oh, and Steffen had to do the splits to kick out that wicked shot by Brian Benning. Boy, what a year Gilmore has had. 42 goals now, 105 points, and he's going to end the regular season with a 9-game scoring streak. Gilmore in the final 9 games of the regular season, 22 points.
Already in Detroit on the faceoff. Lewis trying to clear it. Ramage getting it into Gilmore. Into the corner to Fedorko. Fedorko to Gilmore. Can't center it. Comes to Fedorko. Fedorko on this power play for the Blues. Across to Benning. Benning back to Fedorko. Missed him with that pass. Hunter in front. Shot blocked by Norwood. Hunter to Fedorko in the corner. Now Gilmore trying to get it. But the Red Wings, Burr clears it out of there. And Benning has to go back. 8 seconds left in the Detroit penalty. 25 seconds left in regulation time. Shot into Gilmore. Trying to center. Couldn't. Ashton trying to clear it. Here's Benning. Center to Fedorko. Shot blocked. And Barr just out of the penalty box to Ashton at center. Into the blue zone to Yzerman. Shoots nowhere near the net. Gilmore trying to clear it. Couldn't the first time. Now to Paslowski. Shoots. Snap stops it. Overtime coming up after 60 minutes. It's St. Louis 2, Detroit 2. And a 5-minute sudden death overtime period coming up. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
To get the most from your corn crop, you need maximum performance from your corn soil insecticide. That's why top growers depend on Counter with its unique Action 3.
A total of 20 overtimes. The Blues have won 3, and 16 overtimes. The Red Wings have won 2.
Here we go. Blues must win. Detroit needing only a tie. Here comes Natras. And it's offside at the Detroit blue line. We may see a different type of overtime, Ken, than we normally do. The Blues must win. Detroit, with a tie, can clinch. So you have two opposites against each other here.
A very unusual situation. Secord and Doug Wilson getting the goals for the Blackhawks. This is the 3rd overtime between these two teams here. One a tie, and Hunter won the other game for St. Louis.
Here comes Klima for Detroit. Breaks in on right wing. Into the corner, Mahar. Now back to the net to Tim Bothwell. Out for Hunter on right wing. Got it to Fedorko, who tipped it in. And the Red Wings beat, shoots it right back out. Here's Rick Natras. Long shot. Hit Beach with it. Beach trying to clear it out. Does. Benning knocking it down. Here's Detroit. Benning took him out of the play. Loose puck. Cleared by the Blues, and Fedorko scooped it to center ice. Mike O'Connell shooting it back in. Walmsley behind the net to Natras. Now to Mahar, or to Cavallini, shot to center. Cleared back in by O'Connell. Here comes Gallant for Detroit. Into the corner, trying to center. Now Burr trying to center, does, but Cavallini's there. Cleared it away. Gets it back of his goal for Benning. Benning couldn't clear it. Red Wings, Gallant did get it in front. Cleared by Paslowski. And here comes Gilmore. Gilmore to center. Into the Red Wing zone to Paslowski. Paslowski centered it. Gilmore deflected it and went wide. Gallant back for Detroit. Gerard Gallant taken out by Bothwell. Cavallini clears the puck. Held in by DeLorme. Shot it back of the net. Bothwell for the Blues over to get it. Sudden death overtime. Bothwell to Gilmore. In across the line to Paslowski. Gives it to Cavallini. Shoots. That's blocked. Cavallini center. Snaps is there to clear it. And the Red Wings shoot it to center. Ramage fired it back in. Here's DeLorme for the Red Wings. Clearing it out. Brent Ashton, number 14. Flips it into the blue zone. Going back is Bennett. Off the boards to Mark Hunter. Into center ice to Rick Mahar. Here's Mahar shooting it in. Here comes Fedorko in to get it. Now gets help from Hunter. Behind the net for Mahar, but Beach is there to clear it. Benning shooting wide from the left point. And it's cleared by the Red Wings. Bourgeois knocks it down. Shoots it right back in. Dave Lewis, the veteran. 2:20 left in overtime. Detroit into center ice with Yzerman. Into the blue zone. Yzerman centered. Walmsley slid across and stopped back. Cavallini out of his own zone. Cavallini to Gilmore. Just missed him. Norwood shoots it back. Here's Yzerman. And Ramage checked in. Back goes Cavallini. 1:55 left in overtime. A tie will clinch first for Detroit. The Blues must win. Norwood breaks up a play at the Red Wing line. Now, in across the line, here's Klima, a shot. Blocked, and Bothwell feeds Paslowski with Gilmore. 2-on-2 break. Paslowski trying to center. Norwood broken up. Now centered to Cavallini. Cavallini behind the net. He gets knocked down. Klima for Detroit. Trying to clear it. Ramage pinching in into Gilmore. Hits the back of the net with his pass. Cavallini trying to center, does. Paslowski shot. Ramage shoots. They score! Ramage scores! The Blues win! The Blues finish first. Ramage shot it. It's 3-2 in overtime for the Blues.
Oh, what an incredible finish with 1:11 to go in overtime. The rookie coach, Jacques Martin, congratulated by the former Blues coach, Jacques Demers. It comes down to the final night of the Norris Division. Many will tell you this is the most exciting division in the NHL. And in overtime, the Blues come into Detroit and win 3-2 to finish first in the Norris Division. The fans came to Detroit tonight to see Detroit end a 22-year drought, and Jacques Martin has the big grin and the last laugh.
Who says Jacques Martin is not emotional?
Oh, what a game. One of the most terrific games of the season, to be sure, as the Blues outshoot Detroit 29-16 and win it by a score of 3-2. The rookie coach, Jacques Martin, with team captain Brian Sutter behind him. What a lift for the Blues as they open up the best-of-7 first-round Norris Division semifinal series at the arena Wednesday night. And Dan Kelly, what a setback for the Detroit Red Wings as they finish the regular season losing 3 straight games.
They'd been in first place since February the 7th.
Well, on the goal, Stefan came up with a tremendous play. Then at the right dot, Ramage lets a shot go. Stefan trying to get up, loses his stick, is bumped, and the Blues get the goal that ends the 1986-87 regular season. Doug Gilmour, one of the big stars tonight with the first 2 Blues goals. Paslowski stopped. And then it's Ramage who lets the wrist shot go. He puts it by Stefan to give the Blues their 32nd win and first place in the regular season with 79 points. What a finish.
Rob Ramage, the game winner from Cavallini and Paslowski. 3:49 of overtime the time. The Blues win 3-2. The Blues finish in first place in the Norris Division of the National Hockey League in the year that they saw 350 man games lost through injuries, an all-time team record, and an incredible first place finish by the Blues right here in Detroit. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
This bug's
The Detroit Red Wings 2 in overtime. How about that first place finish? The Blues finished first, 79 points. Then Detroit with 78. Then Toronto, Chicago, and Minnesota with 70. We don't know who's going to be playing whom. The latest we have from Chicago Stadium, after one period, the Blackhawks lead Toronto 2-0. Ken Wilson, just an unbelievable season for the rookie coach, Jacques Martin, and this battling Blues squad.
Boy, you go back. How many years has it been now we say about the Blues? They're not supposed to win. They're not supposed to be talented. They're getting more talented all the time. You go back to the Calgary series last May, Miracle Monday, finished the season 3 straight wins. Detroit has to lose 3 for the Blues to finish first. It happens in overtime. Let's get to the Budweiser 3 stars. We got a lot of things to do here. The number 1 star will save. Paslowski, the number 3 star. He almost won it in overtime. Greg Paslowski, the number 3 star. Doug Gilmour, the number 2 star. He's got to be the star of the season without any question. And the number 1 star had to be Rob Ramage, who was very instrumental in the game. It was just an unbelievable game.
Who do you want to play in the playoffs now that you're the Norris Division champion, Coach?
I'll tell you what, Dan, here it is. The Blues have won. Now, Chicago has a 2-0 lead with 2 periods to go at home against Toronto. If Chicago wins, the Blues open up against Toronto. If Chicago ties tonight, the Blues open up against Toronto. If Toronto goes on to come back and win, so if the Chicago loses, then the Blues would play Minnesota. So
there's no way we're going to play Chicago.
Forget playing Chicago. That long-awaited, exciting first-round Blues and Blackhawks matchup will not happen. I would say it looks pretty sure, or a pretty good chance that the Blues would end up playing Toronto, but hey, anything can happen.
You know, one of the big kicks I had all season long, people have said, Jacques Martin, boy, he's a quiet guy. Boy, he doesn't have much emotion. When that game ended and Ramage scored, and as he walked down the alleyway, he was jumping and snorting and everything else. He was just having a heck of a time.
Dan Kelly, I think people know throughout anyone's life, you end up in the shadow at some time. You can't always be number 1. Jacques Martin was number 1 in junior hockey last year. There was no way this year he was going to be number 1. He was going to be the coach that replaced Jacques Demers. And all of the publicity Jacques Demers has gotten this season is well-deserved. He's done a fantastic job. But for this to happen for Jacques Martin, it's an incredible situation because there are no losers. Jacques Demers is a hero. Jacques Martin ends up getting a final laugh. He wouldn't call it a laugh, but some justification, and those smiles were well-deserved.
Let's have another look at the winning goal by Rob Ramage as I lose my voice as the season comes to an end.
Blues hustling to the end. I really thought late in the third period and in overtime, endurance and extra effort was the key. Paslowski stopped Ramage with about a minute 12 to go, lets the shot go, beats Stefan, and with a minute 11 left on the clock, the Blues win it 3-2. You know, Dan Kelly, we mentioned. Well, there you get a look. What a class operation. A look at Jacques Demers. First thing he does, you know he wants to console his players. First thing he does, he congratulates Jacques Martin. I think the St. Louis Blues are richer to have had both of those gentlemen as coaches. And Dan, we've mentioned how long it's been without a first-place finish here in Detroit. And, you know, we said it was 22 years ago. I got to tell you, I was a youngster 22 years ago, and I went to, I think, 30 or 31 of the Red Wings home games in 64, 65, and watched the last time they finished first in the NHL. And of course, when you won a division, then you won the league. And you know, I think for me especially, I know what these 20,000 people here feel: disappointment because they had a great year and they didn't get it. But boy, for the St. Louis Blues, and that's where the heart is now. What's this, 2 first-place finishes in the last 3 years? Yeah. 6 now in the last 20 years, the history of the franchise, and Detroit's gone hungry for 22 years. I don't think we have too much to complain about in St. Louis.
A first-place finish. The Stanley Cup playoffs begin Wednesday and Thursday at the arena. It's going to be exciting. Congratulations to the Blues, to Chairman Mike Shanahan, President Jack Quinn, General Manager Ron Caron, Jacques Martin, Barclay Pleger, Doug McLean, Brian Sutter, and the rest of the Blues. The first 2 games at the arena on KXOK Radio, the broadcast of games 1 and 2. Games 3 and 4 next Saturday and Sunday night from somewhere will be on both KXOK and here on Channel 11. The final in overtime, the Blues 3 and Detroit 2. The Blues, the Norris Division regular season champions, on a goal in overtime by Rob Ramage. Good night from Detroit.
The first star of the game receives a $100 gift certificate, compliments of Metro 70 Jewelers in downtown St. Louis. St. Louis Blues hockey has been brought to you in part by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. For all you do, this Bud's for you. By Hardee's, we're out to win you over. By Meineke Discount Mufflers. By your local McDonald's restaurants in St. Louis and Metro East. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. By Allstate. Leave it to the good hands people to insure your home, your car, your business, or your family. And by your local Lennox dealers, the efficiency experts.